And now it's a stream.
Yeah.
Ah!
Whee!
Well planned and well organized we are. Hello, Kira.
Hi, Kira.
Oh yeah, there's a thing on the face.
This is
Yeah.
tassels, so the cat can play with it.
Whee!
That's how it works. Put a fez
Yay.
on a cat, it's just a thing to play with.
Put a fez on a cat and it's Dr. Whomst.
Dr. Whomst. Featuring Cat Smith as Cat and Gillen. And who played Rory? I don't know who played Rory.
Why are you asking us?
Remember, I was just when looking at pictures, I was like, "Oh, it's Karen Gillian and Rory."
Yeah, it's just Rory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Arthur Darville, that's his name. Can't you make a cat out of that? Not really. More things for cats to play with. Indeed, how are you, Kira?
If it's hard enough, you can make a cat out of anything.
I was thinking words, but that's an interesting concept. Cats are made of liquid, so I just gotta sort of like squish it until it goes all liquidy.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, welcome to a completely unplanned stream that's vaguely connected to Doctor Who, because Chib had a good time complaining about New Lord of the Rings, and we had not Dr. Jim, Chibi.
Dr. Jim.
Captions. No, not. Captions are, they've renamed you Dr. Jim. I hope you're okay with that.
Dr. Jim. The new doctor.
Dr. Jim.
I just step away from the old Doctor Who thing. It's now Dr. Jim.
Jimity Jim, Jimity Jim. It's a good time. This is, yeah, traditionally goes by John if he wants an alias. Actually, that's a point. Does at any point does most recent Doctor, what's her name? Oh God, brain. This does not bode well. Doctor 13. Help!
I only watched till Matt Smith, so I can't help you.
That's right. I only watched 3 episodes of this one. Whatever. Anyway, it's a running theme with Doctor Who that when they want to pretend to be human, they go by the name John Smith. And obviously now we have a female Doctor. I wonder if at any point she just automatically went John Smith and went, wait, no, hang on, that doesn't work anymore.
Awesome.
Jodie Whittaker.
Jodie Whittaker, yes.
Yeah.
Jodie Smith, right.
Jodie Smith.
Jodie.
Yeah, Jodie Smith.
Yeah. So what are we gonna do?
I'm gonna post silly doctor faces.
Yes, do that. You do that. I don't know. Well, we were doing costumes last time, so we can talk about costumes, I guess.
Yeah, talk about some costumes. I don't. Other than the silly like bee costume, I don't know anything.
There's nothing silly about that moth monster. It's threatening.
I mean, that's. It also is that, but you know.
It may also look like Les Claypool, but don't worry about it. Yeah, okay. So, I guess if anyone doesn't know what Doctor Who is, I should explain. Because, I mean, it is generally an international thing, but it's not exactly like everyone knows it. It's a science fiction thing made by the BBC, which means it has no budget. And
which makes it awesome.
Yeah. It means you get a lot of weird stuff because you've got to make up for the lack of effects and explosions with strange stories and weird things made out of papier-mâché. Yeah, and it's about an alien called the Doctor, the titular Doctor Who travels around the universe just kind of helping people out. having a good time. And one of the gimmicks of the show is that they can, instead of dying, they can regenerate. They can just completely change their body and turn into someone else with a different body and personality. So it's basically a new character with the same history, which is weird. But it allows the show to just keep going because it can keep changing. And since the show keeps changing, it has fluctuating quality. Let's put it that way. And I'm going to complain about the times that it's not been good.
Great introduction.
That's the show.
Good job.
It's an idiot in a box, traveling through time, just helping out. What was it? What's the Capaldi line? An idiot in a box just passing through. I think that's it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's like the entire series has sort of been questioning, am I a good person? Am I a bad person? Am I causing more problems than I was? And then right at the end he's like, I know what I am. I'm an idiot. And I'm all for that.
Sometimes you
Some
just
people
gotta
should
be
just
idiot.
get the idiots.
Yeah. Okay, so I will doodle the costumes of all of the Doctors, and we can show how the costumes reflects the quality of the show as time's gone on, because it's a surprisingly good indicator. Okay, so we'll start with the first Doctor. That was in 1960, I think, when that first started. Black and white. I don't know why I just typed in first into Google.
First.
First.
You're
Comment. That's not
Just first. You know what I mean, Google, right? First.
First.
First. The first Doctor was an old gentleman. It's a kind of professorial. I guess I should just sort of like do the costume, and then you've got to work out what the character's like just from the costume.
Okay.
Oh, yay.
That would be interesting. I do have to do 13 of them though, so I'm
Well,
gonna be here a while. Clothes and such. So yeah, the show is a thing. I'm not even going to draw a body in this costume. It's just the costume. You've got to. Everybody's gone invisible, which has probably been an episode at some point.
probably.
As I said, the show's gone on for 60 years. They've got for a lot of ideas. Most of them were crap, but that's why I love it. The crap ones are usually the most entertaining. Every now and then you get a good episode and you're like, whoa, what happened here? See, I've got to draw things. How does drawing work?
Mm-hmm.
Anyone explain? I spent the day playing Bioshock Infinite. What is? Well, I finished editing a video and then played Bioshock Infinite.
Really done
Has to
drawing
be
today. I just edited a drawing I made earlier. Because I had to fix the lighting for collateral.
It looks good though. If anybody didn't see, Jib posted in the Discord redraw of Galadriel with color and texture and fabric.
So much fabric.
Much fabric.
Almost only fabric.
All fabric. Just needed a few more sleeves, and then it would have been perfect.
Listen, elves sleeves.
Elves be sleeves.
Elves love their sleeves. Where they keep
What?
their armies.
Damn it, you got me there first. She builds very good draws. Yeah.
I'm sorry I have no comment about it. I've mostly slept today.
That's cool.
My mom has the thing. And suddenly I felt all I need to sleep and stuff. But I haven't really told her.
There's a really tall waistcoat. Goes really quite far down. I've only just realised that.
Ooh, elongate in the body.
Yeah, it goes. I mean, I guess that's also coupled with the fact that the sort of, what would you call that? I don't want to call it the gusset, but like the bottom of the trouser inside part, that's just really low. So it just sort of makes it look like his torso is incredibly long. I don't know why.
Fashion in the 60s.
I don't think they were going for fashion. Anyway, I got this. This is a big old coat. Lots of big coats. This series is known for big coats. I think that was one of the stipulations when David Tennant got the role. He was like, "I will take the role if I can have a big flappy coat." And I'm not paraphrasing. I think that's exactly what he said. Oh, and also monocle, which is probably indicative of something.
I also love how you are drawing the Doctor Who costumes again, as though you didn't already draw them once on different characters, and you could just show us those.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't be drawing anything, would I?
Well, you don't have to. I didn't draw anything last time.
I mean, but I'm the host. When was that? When did I do that?
Listen, Christi and I are doodling. It's fine.
Yeah, we're making sure something happens on stage.
Yeah. We're the show you talk.
It was about this time last year. Apparently, we did this. Or February last year. No, it wasn't. But yeah, it was. Yes, this time last year, I doodled various characters of mine in the outfits. Let's compare what I did then to what I just did now. Ooh, there's a stoic. No, it's on the same layer. Why is it on the same layer? Give me a different layer. Do not break things, please. That doesn't happen in Clip Studio.
What?
Yeah. And also this weird hat. I'm not entirely sure what this hat is. It's like if you've ever seen like an army hat. But imagine a fedora, right? And then cut off all of the brim, so you just got the bit on top. It's like that, but and now make it out of fluff. That's what this hat is. I don't really understand it myself.
Are we in the 1800s?
We can be. So the show involves time travel. I should probably explain that.
Well, it sounds like kind of an 1800s hat scaled down.
Yeah, got a bit of a weird thing to it. Yeah, First Doctor. So he was a stern but kindly old eccentric man. The first one. And I think because the idea of the original show was supposed to be quite educational. It's like we're traveling through history and we're seeing historical things and we're going to the future to talk about science and so on and so forth. And two of the characters were teachers. One of them was the main character's granddaughter, and so she was being taught things as it went along. Yeah, it was originally conceived with a sort of educational aspect, which got lost very quickly. But it was there when it started, which I approve of. Yeah, turns out long torso. That's what I'm taking away from this. Why is Stoic's head so big? I don't know. Alonzi. Big floppy coat. Yeah. And that was it was a time though. That's if you go back then you have it's got a bit of a Twilight Zone sort of feel to it, where it's just like we don't really know what we're doing, so we're just going to do everything. And yeah, they invented the Daleks, so I'm happy. Because they're like, we need evil enemy in this, And it wasn't that long ago that the war happened, so let's make them like Nazis in tanks. Cool. Why don't we make the tank the thing itself? Great. And that's basically how Daleks happened. They're tanks that are just shouting exterminate constantly because they're not very nice.
I didn't know that history about them.
Yeah. They were also made as a hurried replacement for a story that got scrapped, which is kind of nice. They were just like, we need one quickly.
Stayed the most important thing of the franchise ever since.
Yeah. And I have a lot of fondness for the Daleks, but they are stupid. So, and I feel like that's Doctor Who, right? I'm fond of it, and it's stupid.
Seems to be the theme.
And generally speaking, the downfall of the show, whenever in the various points that it's had downfalls, has been either trying to take itself too seriously or trying to take itself too stupidly. It's gotta get the balance. Second one, contrast. This is literally the concept of regeneration, the concept of the idea that the main character can change bodies is simply because the main actor for the Doctor got too old to keep going, but they wanted to keep making the show. So they were just like, okay, let's get someone else in. Are we going to have him be the same character? Absolutely not. So they just completely changed his personality. Same characters, technically. Same history, same person. It's just there's an alien, so we can change body. Because, people like this show and we want to keep making it.
So that was never part of the first... He was never explicitly an alien who changes body.
No. That was literally made for the regeneration episode. It wasn't even called regeneration at the time. It was just like, he's changed. Moving on. This is an alien. This is before lore, right? This is just, we're making a show. Let's just sort of have fun with ideas. This is before the idea of like, a big backstory of sort of. I think it's generally. I think he was always alien. But basically all the manifestations of him being or them being an alien, should specify now, come much later. It's basically human. The fact that they have two hearts and change bodies every now and then is irrelevant. They're largely human compared to Mothman.
Mothman, very human.
I feel like I should post Mothman in here. Just to show people the best outfits and enemy designs. Where are they? Okay, still right. No. There. Look at that. Why didn't that get as popular as the Daleks? Hey?
I don't know. Maybe because it looks like that. Might have something to do with it,
I love it. Is that Crowley? It's Tennant's. Tennant meets Tennant. We'll ignore that actually happens in the show.
Cool.
There are conversations between I won't go into it. And it's not even time travel, that one.
It isn't?
Nope. That's wibbly wobbly biomologically, that one.
Okay. Sure.
Cool, right, okay. Moving on from Moth. A shame, though it is. We must move on from Moth. This outfit is kind of how... I would describe this outfit as pockets. Like pockets. Again, big coat.
As a woman, I can say I know pockets 30% of the time.
Which I feel is very unfair. I'm going to draw a mannequin to draw things on.
Only now.
This is my mannequin. This is where clothes go. If I'm going to be drawing a lot of the same outfit, I might as well. Well, not the same outfit. The point is that it changes. And it changes to reflect the personality sometimes of the main character. We'll get to that. So while I'm doodling, what is everybody's interaction with the Doctor Who?
Like a couple of episodes of the Matt Smith seasons. Maybe like 4 episodes. I don't know. And like 2 episodes of Peter.
2 episodes of Old Pete.
And like some half episodes of me just walking in while someone else is watching Doctor Who, and I'm just like, sure, this might as well be happening.
Got nothing better to do. Let's sit down and watch some wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
Anyway, I'm drawing Crowley and
Yay!
and thinking, which one? 10?
10, yes. Well,
Okay, great. Thanks for the answer.
Do you want me to get... It's referred to in the show as 10, right? But
Yes.
it's technically 11 and 12. So...
Okay, cool. That makes total sense.
It makes no sense. It's Doctor Who, and it's not supposed to make sense. If you try and make sense of it, you're doing it wrong.
You'll die.
Yes, it is fatal. Trying to make sense of Doctor Who is fatal. Big old pockets with a recorder. This doctor played the recorder for no reason.
So there's the 5th Doctor, the Recorder Doctor.
They tend to have a little bit of a gimmick about a lot of them. I guess the first one was the monocle.
What's your favorite Doctor outfit?
Favorite Doctor outfit?
Yeah, not favorite Doctor. Favorite Doctor outfit.
Oh. I think it has to be Baker. The 4th Doctor? So Baker doesn't actually narrow it down, does it? That's 4 and 7. Yeah, 4th Doctor. I like a scarf. I like a big red coat, big old scarf, cool hat. I would look stupid in it, but it's
and just cloth.
Yeah.
It's there's a reason M wore it in when I did my doodles.
That is a big scarf, and it looks very cozy.
Yeah. I believe that was also a mistake. Apparently the costume designer was just given lots of different coloured wool and was like, and the director was like, just go wild, as in put lots of colours in it. And she was like, oh, I've just got to use it all, have I? Okay, cool. So you just ended up with a really long scarf.
All scarf.
Oops, all scarf.
Oops, all scarf.
It happens.
Canonically, in the show, it was knitted for him by Madame Nostradamus.
Interesting.
I don't know why I know that.
I don't know either.
Apparently this one's just got lots of things in his pockets. It's got a spotty handkerchief sort of coming out of the thing. And that he's got like a little, tiny little bow tie, wibbly wobbly bow tie that's just sort of clipped on.
Mm.
It's not straight. Lots of rumples, lots of bagginess.
Why does the opacity go down when you choose the smallest size?
I don't know.
does it?
Yeah, this is the same color and the same opacity.
It's maybe because, like, if you were to draw like perfectly on the pixel, it would be the right thing. But because you're drawing in between pixels, it's essentially splitting the color across 2 pixels, and thus making it look weaker than it is. I guess the answer is anti-aliasing.
The other thing, and now it's darker.
Or I'm wrong. Both work.
Probably right. There's just a toggle button that does that. I don't know how or why.
Magic. That is another thing to bear in mind if you ever watch Doctor Who. Is probably best just to think of a lot of things as it's basically magic. We were talking about how it's not science fiction. Do not mistake Doctor Who for being science fiction. It is not. It is fantasy.
Isn't it like how Star Wars is space wizards?
Yeah, Star Wars is space wizards. It's not sci-fi because there's bugger all science or science-like stuff involved. It's just a fantasy story in space with wizards and knights and a princess that needs rescuing from a castle. Only the castle is a big laser orb.
It's my favorite line from Game Grumps.
So yeah, this rough. So this is Doctor Number 2, whose name Patrick Troughton. That's his name. And again, there's a lot of sort of checkered trousers. I don't know if that was just a thing at the time.
No big coats were so.
Well, that's largely continued to be a thing. So floppy coats are cool. It's a Dalek.
Just draw the top of the Dalek. It just looks like a little alien, like a little cute little alien. Like
Yeah.
This little guy.
Oh. that would have changed their personality ever so slightly, I think.
Maybe, but, you know. Has anyone ever thought of putting googly eyes on the Daleks?
Let's find out. They're like googly eyes. Yes. And I'm a fan.
Oh, wonderful.
Give me the thing.
Is this a paint palette?
Oh, wonderful.
That's great. Love it. So yeah, what do you think about the second Doctor? Doctor 2?
Doctor 2 is a mess.
Yeah, you're on track.
They need to get their life together. Based on this outfit, at least. Like,
they look very homely.
Yeah, I believe that. Oh yeah, also massive pockets in the trousers as well. Pockets apparently. The coat kind of looks inside out. It's not, but it kind of does.
Googled it, and the fucking hair doesn't help.
Yeah. I think he almost shaved his head for her, and they was like, "No, keep the scraggly hair. It's good."
Is it though? I don't know.
It's
I don't know.
I believe that the phrase they had at the time was for his character was cosmic hobo. And I think what they did interestingly with his character was this was when they started doing a lot more of the sort of monster of the week. Oh, you've got to beat the monster sort of thing, getting away from the like historical stories and all that sort of stuff. And his character sort of developed into this sort of, you know, blundering sort of silly person to, pull silly faces and all that sort of stuff. But that's disguising like a really sort of clever person who's manipulating things behind the scenes, which is sort of an interesting idea. It's like he will defeat people with his intelligence, and he will look like an idiot doing so. So it lulls you into a full sense of security. One thing I should probably specify about the Doctor is always generally, we'll get to that, quite nice. They're just kind of a nice person to be around generally. They can be acerbic at times, but generally they're kind. In the words of Capaldi's Doctor, always try to be nice, but never fail to be kind. So yeah, Bumbly, Doctor 2. Bimble Bumble.
Bumbley the bee.
And look at this, we have an evil Roomba. And a Matt Smith.
I think they figured out Roombas at that time.
I remember I wasn't, well, canonically, according to us, I was born in the 60s, so I guess this statement doesn't make sense. But not being born in the 60s, I remember when I was at school, we got taught programming with a Roomba. And it was just a little Roomba-like thing, a circular little robot. And you would just like type in there were little buttons on the top that were like forward, left, right, so on and so forth. And you would type in like forward, left, forward, right, forward, and then it would do those things in order. So you would sort of like program a little path so it would go through an obstacle course.
That's dope.
So they might not have had Roombas, but they might have had tiny little robots just scuttling around. You have a question?
Do the Daleks have plungers?
That is a question that as yet remains unanswered.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
The strict answer is probably low budget. Why they still have them is a different question.
I think people would be mad of change.
Yeah, well, they when they came back in the new series, they addressed that very quickly with somebody walking up to it and going, "What are you going to do? Plunge me to death?" And then it plunges him to death. Turns out, good suction on those. Good suction on a plunger. Who'd have thought? Okay, Doctor 3, the one I grew up with. There's various outfits with this one. So, full body shot would be nice. Something like that. We'll go something like that. Cool. Bow tie. Matt Smith Doctor is not unique for having a bow tie.
I think he was. I do like the bow tie though.
Bow tie's good.
Bow ties are great.
Do not know what's going on with this outfit. But that's kind of the point. So the whole first series of this Doctor is on the Internet Archive. I don't know why it's there, but it is. And I watched it recently, and it's like oddly competent sci-fi, which is strange. I think they were actually trying, and I don't know why. It stopped pretty quickly, because I do remember an episode with giant claymation dinosaurs with this Doctor, so... But yeah, I do remember there's one about, like, weird sort of, like, astronaut, alien, conspiracy, government things with...
Lizard people.
Lizard, oh yeah, that's the thing. That was one. There was a political intrigue regarding lizard people living underground.
That one was awesome.
And then Chris Chibnall brought it back, and it wasn't as good. One of my favorite things about that episode, or the original ones of those stories, was that basically the plot of the story is big old mining operation, new advances in mining technology. We dig too deep, and we awaken a species that's been sleeping underground for millennia. And they are a civilized species of lizard people. And they're like, hey, this is our planet. What are you doing here? We're like, we evolved here. You've been asleep for a while. And anyway, there's this sort of whole argument with like the humans saying, well, we're here now, and the lizards saying, we were here before, etc., etc., land disputes, and then there's like the military versus the scientists of how we approach this conflict, and there's a lot of sides with it, but all the way through, there's the guy who runs the mining thing, who is just constantly harassing people saying, why haven't you fixed my drill yet? Like, all the way through. And he just drives himself mad because nobody fixes his drill, and that's all he cares about through the entire thing, and I just found that very funny. He's got this, big political arguments and lots of like moral questions and all that sort of stuff, and this guy's just like, fix my drill, for God's sake.
Please.
Gotta remember the little things in everyday life.
Yeah, it again, that's sort of part of it. It's like, people focus on what's important to them, and to him it was, he's put a lot into this drill. In the big picture, it's not particularly important, but to him... One thing I should probably specify about this that I can't really get across in the way I'm drawing is a lot of velvet.
Let me see.
I don't know why I'm making this a almost finished drawing. But
Because you're pleased with it enough to want to, and that's good.
it's that I just can't not be perfectionist.
That's good.
It's good.
No, I love Dalek.
Yeah.
That Dalek looks bouncy, and I'm here for that.
It is bad. I'll say. Oh, bouncy Dalek that you can just like bop 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 like a basketball. They don't mind.
I'm sure they do.
Oh. There have been vaguely lovable Daleks in the course of the history of the show, because there's only so long you can take them seriously until you look at them and go, oh.
For me, it was about a second.
Yeah. As like back in the 60s, they were weird and strange and like, oh my god, strange. What is this
And
otherworldly machinery?
Television.
Yeah. And now we're like, what?
It's like if you've seen X-Files on a big screen after it's been like reworked. It's not as scary.
I mean, it's also just like a matter of like we've gotten used to like the idea of robots, kind of. And like they're just like people get attached to their Roombas. And that's fine, and Daleks are basically that. They have a plunger, like what are they gonna do?
Well, that's actually one of the things when the Daleks came back. Because originally they were kind of like bright colours and sort of weird, sort of like smooth surfaces and stuff. But when they brought them back, they were like, let's make them look like they're made of metal. Just like riveted metal. And the original designers of some of the early Daleks were like, no, that doesn't make sense. They're supposed to be like alien. They're not like terrestrial technology. They're not like, made by shipwrights or something. They're supposed to look alien and strange. But the problem is that they were working from the perspective of people who still thought plastic was futuristic. And like, we have plastic now. It's everywhere. So,
yeah.
The idea of them just running around looking like plastic, they look silly,
Yeah,
in the 60s, plastic was, ooh.
Ooh, plastic.
Ooh, you could own a plastic thing. It's wow.
I mean, yeah, if like the Daleks like looks a little bit more like, you know, actual metal, but like I don't know.
They still look like plastic bins.
They're always going to look silly. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That's part of the charm. So they look really stupid. But yeah, easy to make toys out of.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like one of the 2 Funko Pops I have. And like the only one I bought for myself. Have I watched a lot of Doctor Who? No. Do I
Doesn't matter.
have a Funko Pop of a Dalek that looks kinda cute? Yes.
I want to see this now. Because I don't know how that works. Because Funko Pop thing is that all the faces look the same.
I mean, it's
And this
just a
doesn't have a
Dalek.
face.
Hold on.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
I'll grab it.
It's got a big eye. It's been squished. Been squimped. It's been squimped. This is the Bab Dalek.
It's a little baby. I'm gonna make a picture of mine
E.
for proof.
Proof. Proof that it
It's
exists.
proof that I have a baby. Can I make a good picture? Hold on.
Just a little lad. Just a little lad.
Glorious picture. Why can I not take any pictures? I am so bad.
Now to draw the fourth Doctor, which consists of 90% scarf, 10% hair.
Mm.
So annoying that I don't know the lyrics to that song now.
Song? Who?
That something percent something something percent something. Oh,
That's a song?
yeah. And it's a great joke if you know the song. But I don't.
But neither do I, so it's fine. It all works out. We're even. Break even.
Yay.
How does scarves work?
There's a baby in my
Baby.
hand.
Ah, baby. Well, make sure you're looking after it. And the spinner rack in the background.
Yes. That is a sticker that I didn't stick to the wall via actual stickering, but which I attached to my wall with like the little like gummy attachment thingies.
It's simply not the Chibi way to use stickers as intended, like the sheeple do.
Like, no.
Yes, rule number 1 of Doctor number 4 is scarf. Have you considered
That's fair.
scarf?
Esme's face is really easy to make look like him.
That's good.
Yeah. He's got a specific face.
Yay.
It's difficult to confuse with anyone else, really.
Stickers can be used however you wish. Exactly.
Yeah.
And in my case, that includes being stuck on the wall via links. Gummy. I don't know what it's called in English. I didn't even know what
Blue
it's
tack?
called in
Yeah, blue tack.
Kind of, I guess. I don't know.
We'll go with gummy adhesive.
Gummy adhesive. You know the one.
I like the combination of the technical term adhesive with the non-technical term gummy.
Same thing that I'm always like futzing with whenever I'm like, I have like a bit of it on my desk and I just keep like stretching it. It's just something I do.
Oh
I
yeah,
do needed erasers.
Yes, that too.
I remember doing that so much with a piece of blue tack that it lost its adhesiveness and just turned into goop.
Yeah, I think that might happen to this one. I don't know if it can actually like still stick to things.
I think because of restrictions of what it's allowed to contain, that's almost how it is out of the box over here. Like
Oh.
you touch it once and it doesn't work.
Huh. That's no good.
Yeah,
No.
I'm like fiddling with this, or I'm fiddling with these like 2 coins that I have on my desk, and I just fiddle them together. I cannot keep my hands still.
See, I have a. Don't know if you can hear that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have a mini slinky. That's usually what I mess around with. Oh,
Slinkies!
or plectrum. Guitar plectrum's always good.
Whenever a kid had a slinky, when I came over for birthday party, that's where I would be.
Yeah, slinky. There's a reason I put a lot of myself into my characters, and I feel like it should be obvious where. I say this like it's been a while since I've ever actually used that fact, but M really likes slinkies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That used to be a thing. She used to carry around a slinky.
My brain, that makes total sense.
Anyway, Doctors number 3 and 4.
I mean,
One of
I've
them's
never played with slinkies much because for me they just always mess up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the fun though, untangling them. Well, it's not the fun,
No.
but it's part of the fun.
Now I don't.
No, I'm not a patient person.
And this is how society was formed. Some people get them tangled, and some people like to untangle them, and together we are stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, send me a bunch of slinkies I can tangle for you. I'll send
Yay!
them back within like a day.
The perpetual gift.
I've worked out methods of untangling. It's a good time.
I'm always the untangler in the family, though I hate it because I'm the only one who doesn't like throw it on the ground and stomp on it after 10 seconds.
What? Who
My
stomps
family
on a
is very hot-headed.
Who is stomping on slinkies? They should be arrested for crimes against fun.
Crimes against fun. I like that.
But yeah, I've messed up a whole bunch of erasers.
I've never had a kneaded eraser. I feel like I should get one, but I never draw. So.
I mean, it's not just needed erasers that I've messed up.
Oh right.
I've also messed up
Well,
regular erasers by drawing on them.
they become needed eventually, if you need them enough.
Because we used to like just get these like small just regular white erasers from school. Like every year that was like part of like your getup that you got from school. And I by the end of the school year, it was always my eraser was always either like completely in crumbles, black because it was drawn on so much, or it was stabbed a bunch of times by a pencil.
That's the most fun one.
Oh yeah, that is satisfying, isn't it? Stabbing a rubber. I forgot about that. Also, we call them rubbers here. That's whatever.
Yeah.
Almost forgot.
I could never keep like any of my school supplies like clean.
I don't know how my pencil shavings always went in my pencil case because I was too shy to get up and go to the
Oh yeah, yeah.
I had a pencil case that had like it had 2 compartments with their own separate zips, and so all of the rubbish and pencil shavings went in one side, and all the pencils and stuff went in the other.
Smart.
I believe Griff is wearing all of these costumes. Which
Yeah,
does
so
imply Griff is not wearing pants for that one.
yeah, I just no real consistency with the trousers with the other one. It's just trousers, to be honest. Most of them are just trousers. I might as well
That's
just draw the
true.
tops. Yeah. What do you think about 3 and 4?
I like 4 a lot. It, the scarf gives it a lot of personality. I'm not sure about the hat. The hat is a bit.
It's a crumple hat, and sat
Yeah,
on top of a big old curly-haired afro sort of thing.
yeah. I saw it. It's a choice.
Oh,
It's
you wait for choices.
yeah.
We're
I
starting to get
can't
into
wait
the
for choice.
we're starting to get into the choice territory now.
But I
The
also looked
skin
at the outfit
sensor.
for 3, and it's fun. It just doesn't like. Is that a weird thing to say? It doesn't scream Doctor for me.
That's fair. Like I say, I grew up with
Doctor
this
has
one,
no
so
consistency.
yeah. There is generally speaking, doctors tend to alternate between sort of like serious doctors that look eccentric on the outside and eccentric doctors that look serious on the outside. So it's like you got a weird back and forth with them, but there's also lots of just weird fluctuation because the actor does what they want to do. So yeah, the third Doctor is this sort of like, I want to say suave, but also not. He bumbles a bit, which is it's a bit weird because he's the actor. John Pertwee is known for being sort of a comic actor, really, pulling a lot of weird faces and such. But for some reason, with the Doctor, he just sort of went with this sort of like serious scientist getting on with science. But also wearing frills and capes.
Yeah, the 17th century vampire with a bow tie. I'm not totally sold on.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and then the fourth one is based on a painting. I can't remember precisely. Where's that's it's based on Toulouse-Lautrec poster. Hang on, let me get a copy. Flip. I think that was the original. Probably shouldn't be uploading that. Just give you the the address. Yeah, they went for a sort of, I believe, the bohemian they were going for. That was the sort of look that they were starting with. But yeah, and this one was just sort of like strange traveler that keeps everything in his pockets. More pockets. We're alternating between old man and pockets so far.
The 2 genders.
The 2 genders, old man and pockets. Which are you? I'm both, apparently, I guess.
Called gender fluid, Chris.
I'm gender fluid. I'm old man and pockets. You've come at me with your binary nonsense. Right. Well, that's that. We now move on to the interesting one.
Those were interesting.
They're interesting for me. What I would say is that the first 4 had outfits, which sounds strange until I say that the next ones have costumes.
Yeah.
And that marks a bit of a jump in how the show is being perceived by the writers, producers, the feel changes at this point in the show.
I thought you were gonna say the next ones had personality, and I was like, burn.
No, they've all got personality, to different extents. But why did that happen? What's going on here? Oh, the color. Oh, that happens. This stylist really likes to color pick for no reason. Long coat.
Ooh, long coat.
Long coat. It's a long coat that
Long
feels like it could have been a short coat. They just made it long for no reason. But whatever.
I mean, sometimes you just want a long coat.
Always.
Always. Why take a short coat if you can take a long coat? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I not only know what you mean, I agree.
I need to wear more long coats. And with
Yeah.
that, I mean I need to wear like any long coats.
I was gonna say, like, did you just get a normal coat? That'd be long on you, right?
Wow.
Jibs is tiny. That's the joke.
I mean, that is like the legit fear I have is that if I start wearing long coats, I'll just look like I'm drowning. Fabric. That is a legitimate fear I have. I'll just look really tiny.
Yeah, it's
I've
part
been
of the fun.
wearing long coats a lot since I was like a teenager, and it actually makes me look taller.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to try it out.
I've been wearing a long black coat since the end of secondary school. I like a long black coat. And I remember distinctly the first proper criticism I had of long black coat was during a if I were to just say the word sports day, would that mean anything specifically to anyone
Yeah.
outside of Britain?
It does mean something to me. I don't know if it's the right thing, but it does mean
Yes.
something.
We would just have a day every year there would be the sports day, which is where people will go out and compete in little sporting events in school. And it would be a day off from normal classes, and me being the incredibly sporty person that I am, would obviously not do a lot. And it was a sports day. It was really hot, full sunshine, and I was wearing my big black coat because I like my big black coat. And my physics teacher walked past me and went, "This reflects really badly on me." Because
Whoa!
I'm supposed to be teaching you how science works, and you're walking around in the middle of summer wearing a big black coat.
Well,
Yeah, I think this is the first Doctor that's not wearing a waistcoat. That's something.
But you could just not participate.
I wasn't participating. I was just walking around.
Yeah, but you could just not you could just do that, not participate, and be fine.
It was less that I could not participate and more that no one wanted me to participate because I would just end up losing, and no one wants that. So
that sucks.
I mean, I was fine with it. I got to sit down and read or whatever. So
Well, compared to my school where you had to participate,
Yeah.
even if you were disabled,
oh dear.
I guess that's better, maybe.
We had a system. Hey, people from other countries. Harry Potter did not invent the concept of houses in schools. Our sports day would be everyone's in a house in the school, and the sports day would be house versus house, and whichever house got the most points at the end of the sports day wins.
Okay. Yeah. No.
And so obviously my house didn't want me doing sports because I wouldn't win anything. So now,
Okay.
That's a bad system.
well, it meant I didn't have to do anything, so I'm fine. I think they encouraged it so that everybody has an opportunity to. but evidently not everyone had to. But I still had to do like gym lessons and stuff every week. It's not like I could just stay out of stuff. But
Yeah,
just for that
no.
one day.
No, it's just that like for our sports day, at least in high school, like mandatory like participation, you had to like be in a team and you had to pick a sport and do that for the entire day.
The entire day, my word.
I mean, it was like a little tournament thing, so you know, like until the school day was over. So, I mean, entire school day. So like from like 9 till like 3 or 4 maybe.
We just did it with like, we do this sport and then we move on and do this sport and so on and so forth. So you just do like a thing like in an hour, and then the rest of the days you just sit around and cheer everyone else on.
No, for us it was like at least in high school it was like this. In like primary school it was more like you get like divided into teams and you do like little games, not really sports but kind of sports, but mostly like more on the game side of sports. Um and then like you would do lots of them, and then in high school it was more like pick a sport, pick a team, tournament. Which is why I didn't like sports day in high school. Because you could choose sports, of course, but there were like 3 sports available, and with 3 I mean actually 2, because you cannot compete on your own. Cannot play a sport on your own when it's a team sport.
Oh, that doesn't seem very imaginative.
So like most of the years I was forced to play football, which I don't necessarily dislike. It's just something I don't necessarily like either.
I get that.
Um, it and also what didn't help my enjoyment for that particular sport was that during one of those sports days, I got a football kicked against my head.
No.
Not by people like actually like some of the guys had decided that it was a fun idea to play a little like mini game of football like while they were on break from like actual like matches.
Also, it wasn't even in a match.
No. No, I was sitting on the side.
No.
There was a bit of like it was a bit of space and like a fence between me and the other people like on break and the actual field. Um there were just a couple of random guys just playing football, and then suddenly I got a ball against my head.
That's no good. In the words
No,
of our Lord and Savior Sonic, that's no good.
exactly. And then I went home for the day because I got a ball against my head.
At least you were allowed to.
Yeah,
You could have pictured you not being allowed to, like, it's just a flesh wound.
I mean, that probably would have been my reaction if it wasn't a sports day and I was already tired of it.
I mean, to the
I was a very I wouldn't say sportsy person, but like I wanted to do my best in sports, even though I wasn't in like gym classes, even though I was not the best at anything
Yeah, you had team
or the
spirit.
sportiest. I wanted to have fun, and the only way to have fun in those things is by actually participating.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're just kind of like lounging around and you wait for time to be over.
That was my approach.
Um, but that did mean that there were some times where I just like almost ignored an actual injury. Kind
Don't
of.
do that. Baby Chip,
Which,
look
you
after
know, not a
yourself.
great idea.
I'm sorry about my dog.
It's okay. Anyway, I'm
Your,
sorry about distracting from Doctor Who.
your dog, the dog is telling baby Chib to look after themselves.
Baby Chib has learned. I mean, arguably.
Go on then, argue.
I might not have changed.
Arguably, go. What is a blee?
I don't know.
Argue.
Anyway, who's this Riddler person? Why are they question marks?
Yeah, the question mark motif comes in around now. Again, costuming rather than outfits.
Like the little cat or dog?
Yeah, I only just noticed that. it's just a cat. I don't know why. Does it like cats? Probably not. I'm not going to be able to do the sixth one justice because it's just a multicolor nightmare.
Ooh. Technicolor coat.
Yeah. So I'm just going to try and imply it with shading.
More like Doctor Who hats I see, the more I appreciate Matt Smith for just like going with a fez.
Nothing wrong with the fez. See, I was brought up with Madness, the band Madness, and they were known for fezzes. So I already liked fezzes by the time by the time Doctor Who did it. So I was like, yes, I'm one step ahead of the game.
Yeah, it's just like I'm not a big fan of the flop hats. Of those kind of hats. Or whatever that is. I mean, that's a wannabe top hat. But yeah, I don't know. I think yeah.
Okay, yeah. Doctors 5 and 6. Thoughts and prayers.
I liked flower.
That's a stick of celery.
That's even better.
Again, nobody has explained to me why he has a stick of celery on his top.
Okay, good to know.
He saw that people had pieces of plant in their pocket.
Yeah, so well, people will go around flowers. This is basically a flower, right?
Yeah. I googled the Fifth Doctor, and the coloring is a bit like the color of his suit and everything is like giving you very much like I don't even know like
it's largely beige.
Yeah, it is very beige, but it's like it's giving me a very specific vibe, but I don't know what to call it.
So the vibe that's any British person will tell you. The vibe that's given off here is cricket. Crickety, crickety. If he's probably wearing knee pads, you know, shin pads.
I was gonna say like white man on like a Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
In
Yeah.
like the I don't know what era, but
exactly.
I think that's the same vibe that we're going.
Yep. Old white men watching the cricket. That's what it is. Yeah. And the sixth one.
Like you give him a walking cane, and I'm just like very much like, yeah, sure.
Yes. And bear in mind, this was the youngest Doctor by far when he first started. I think it was only Matt Smith who's replaced that.
Yet he looks like a very old white British man.
Yeah. Old
It's
British
a
man.
miracle.
Was he in his 20s when he started that? I think he was. Can't remember now.
My favorite part is the celery, so I gotta go with
the celery is great.
Just a stick of celery.
And the Sixth Doctor. I mean, I like the colors of the coat. lots of patterns. I like that. It's fun.
I definitely remember this is when I was thinking about doing this for my characters in the outfits. It seemed as soon as I thought about the Sixth Doctor, I was like, yeah, this is this is an October.
Yeah.
It's patchwork. Nothing looks like it fits. It's just all over the place.
Mhm.
It's October.
It does look like he's wearing 2 sets of pants.
So yeah, what do you think about the personalities of these Doctors, based on just the outfits?
Based on the outfits. I mean, based on the outfits, we have every British white man going to cricket on a Sunday morning.
Which is fairly accurate.
Who's
And
one character?
I don't know,
Redeeming
like
character
Willy
trait.
Wonka's cousin. Is that an appropriate vibe to get? I don't know.
Maybe, but not necessarily in the way you intend.
Okay, great.
So if I had to describe the Sixth Doctor oh, look at that face. Look at that Smith face. Love it. Yeah, if I had to describe the Sixth Doctor in a simple, well, in a single word, I would say acerbic. He's
What now?
very serious. Does not suffer fools gladly. You say something stupid, he will call you stupid. And it's just completely at odds with the just bonkers costume. Just
Okay,
this
yeah,
person
that
who's-
was not the vibe I was getting.
Very, very
That's
egotist almost. They're very unlike a lot of the Doctors that came before. Still kind, but definitely not nice.
I mean, I can get egotist vibes, but that again comes to I don't know, Willy Wonka.
Yeah. Like I say, I can imagine that as Willy Wonka's cousin.
Yeah.
that can work. But like I said, I don't necessarily think that was what you were thinking.
No.
Maybe you were. I don't know.
A little bit, but different. Definitely not serious was what I was imagining. I mean, very. I don't know, I mean that's probably just what the Doctor is about, but only serious as in adhering to their own set of rules,
Yeah. Yeah.
but not to actually important things, which is probably not what you were going for.
No, they're very they. It depends on the incarnation, I guess. Of
No, but with that specific one, with the 6th one.
yeah. It's just it's very sort of I know my mind. You have no taste. This is true taste. Points at clown outfit.
Taste.
Your puny human intellect would not understand. Yeah, it's interesting what they tried to do. Unfortunately, this was also the time at which the writing just completely fell through the floor.
Oh, wonderful.
They did not know how to write this Doctor Who anymore at all. But they tried. I like the fact that they tried, because it can work. The idea of this Doctor that isn't sort of nice per se, that is is gonna be straight with you, and
I mean, yeah, that can work.
it did with Capaldi.
Yeah.
They got there eventually.
It can work, but you have to it's a very narrow line you have to walk.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between not nice and just straight up a dick.
Yeah, he definitely comes off as just straight up a dick quite a lot. They do not balance that line well. which is why if no reason you would if you don't know, there's a thing called Big Finish, and Big Finish is not strictly affiliated with the BBC in any way, but they have bought the licenses to use the characters from Doctor Who, and they make audio dramas rather than TV shows, so like radio plays and stuff like that. And basically, they have been credited with single-handedly reviving the esteem of the actor who played the Sixth Doctor in this role, from being absolutely awful to being actually really good and written really badly. so I'm interested to hear some of these audio plays, because apparently in those he's one of the best. He's really good because they knew how to write that kind of character. But in the TV show, he just comes off as a dick.
That's very interesting. It's also very.
Themed.
It's also I like a few days ago I watched the stage adaptation of Into the Woods on YouTube, which very much this like theme of not nice, but you know, there's a difference between nice and good, and that's all I can think about right now because I've been playing that soundtrack on loop. I'm sorry to bring musicals into this.
No, it's you bring what you bring to it, you know.
But it's I because I Sideways, the YouTube creator that did like the whole analysis of the Cats music.
Oh,
That person. He also did a analysis on the music of Into the Woods, which is very fascinating, and I highly recommend, honestly, all his videos because he's a very insightful person when it comes to music.
I was about to say I know absolutely nothing about Into the Woods, but I also knew absolutely nothing about Cats, and that didn't stop me watching that. So
Yeah, it's a very interesting because the basic premise of Into the Woods is that you have a bunch of fairy tales in one story. And they basically like you have like Cinderella, you have Red Riding Hood, you have Jack and the Beanstalk, um, and the child. I think it's like supposed to be the childless couple from Thumbelina, but it's changed a little bit. But you know, the childless couple from many fairy tales.
from
I'm
Fairy
sure.
Tale,
Yeah.
I would like child. Oh, magic.
And it's basically like they do all the fairy tale things, um, but they um it's a comedy, it's a dark comedy musical, because basically they have their happy ending at the end of the first act. And then everything after that goes completely wrong.
Yeah.
That's people start dying. It gets dark, and it's great.
And they lived happily ever. Nope.
Um, and basically, like nobody in like most of the characters, they don't actually learn their lesson about like what is good, what is right, and like everything that comes with it until like the I believe it's like the second last or the third last song. Um, so like the last 10 minutes, but it's written very well.
Nice.
But um there is this line very early in the musical sung by Red Riding Hood, um where she's like recounting her like encounter with the wolf from her story and how she got out, where she says uh um n- basically the line nice is different than good. which then later gets in the second act it gets set back to all the characters by one of the main villains. Like, you're not good, you're not bad, you're just nice. And it's the most like, I don't know how she like makes you are nice sound like an insult, but she manages it, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, that is, to all intents and purposes, that is essentially the narrative arc of the 12th Doctor. Is that I don't know whether I'm being good or I'm just trying to be. I've just been spending all this time being nice. Is that good? Am I actually helping? Am I not? So on and so forth. And that is an interesting thing. That's cool. It's nice that you can sort of take that angle and use it in that sort of fairy tale context as well.
Yeah, because especially like during the first act when everyone is like they're all trying to get their wish, in stereotypical like fairy tale fashion, like but they aren't like necessarily like good about it. Like they steal and they lie and they cheat and whatever.
Yeah.
But like they're the good guys, so they get their wish, and like it's my favorite song of the musical, the one I've been listening to the most, is called Happily Ever After or Happy Ever After, which is the last song of the first act. And it's it's very it's very like it's very like self-aware almost of like clearly this is our happy ever after and nothing will happen after this that will make our lives like seem lesser or less interesting, or like this is the end, this is how happy we all are. um and like how they got there didn't really matter. They got there, they have their happy ever after, and they were supposedly good and everything. It's very fun. um there's this one, um yeah, it's in the song there is this lyric, so you have uh to be happy and forever you must see your wish come true. Don't be careful, don't be clever. When you see your wish, pursue. So it's just like
Don't think about it.
don't think about it, just go, just don't stop to think about like the um like ramifications of what you do or anything. Don't like think about your choices or what you're doing. Don't take any responsibility. Just go.
You're the protagonist. You could do no wrong. Go.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but it's a very fun musical, and it's in its entirety on YouTube. I highly recommend it.
Nice.
Because it does get very dark and people do start dying, and it takes some of the like more brutal aspects of some of the older fairy tales and also uses those,
Yeah.
which is fun. And also it's just very meta, as in there is like a narrator character in the musical who gets sacrificed. The characters break well, not the fourth wall, but like because the fourth wall is to the public, but like to the narrator, they take the narrator, they sacrifice the narrator to the giants.
Well,
It's great. I love it so much.
but who will proclaim that it is happily ever after now?
Yes, there is like the narrator is like protesting like there should always be an outside observer, and then one of the characters says, well, some of us don't like the way you've been telling it. It's just it's great, it's wonderful.
It sounds like a good time.
It's a
Yeah.
very good time. It's very funny.
At the very least, it's always good to hear Chib get excited about things.
Mm-hmm. Go watch it, and then go watch Sideways' this video about it, and then go like, what?
Right, Doctors 7 and 8.
Um, uh,
Also, more Matt Smith faces.
Oh, that one's not Matt Smith, actually.
That was it not?
It's kind of a greaser at the moment, but...
I was going to say, it's sort of Sylvester Stallone, kind of.
yeah.
Dr. 7 again looks just like a white man going to cricket on Sundays.
Yeah.
Only with a weird umbrella now. He's
It's not an
also the
umbrella.
Riddler in disguise.
Yep.
The Riddler in disguise as a British gentleman going to cricket. It's a very specific character.
and I know exactly what you mean, and you're pretty darn close. No, the only thing I will add to that character is that this revives the thing that they did with the second Doctor of like him being a bit silly and a bit aloof, but actually behind the scenes he's like, I know exactly what I'm doing. And being sort of very, you know, not manipulative. Well, yeah, manipulative, but only of the evil people.
And the 8th Doctor is a Victorian gentleman by the looks
Bang
of
on.
it.
This was during the height of period dramas, and they were like, brilliant.
That explains a lot.
Dress him up as a bloody Jane Austen character. Go.
Yep.
We can blame the Americans for that one, because it was only in the American film.
Mr. Darcy.
Yeah. Which is a shame, actually, because apparently when he turned up to do, like, he got the audition, he's like, when he turned up, he was like, right, okay, here are my ideas for the characters. I'm going to shave my head, I'm going to wear a leather jacket. And they're like, nope, wear this wig.
Well, that's the opposite of what you wanted.
And then we got the next Doctor who had a shaved head and a leather jacket. So move on to that. Feels bad. We're now in the modern series. Hooray!
Yay!
This one shouldn't take long. I'm gonna skip. Okay, lore spoilers, I guess, for Doctor Who. There is a Doctor in between the last one and this one, but
Okay, interesting.
That's the first thing that messes up the numbering system.
Interesting.
How do you how do you make something look like leather without like rendering leather?
Shiny.
Many just simple shines. That's my recommendation.
Okay.
Anyway,
more musicals.
Yes, I'm gonna talk about Into the Woods more. Because like, I have also watched videos of like why the adaptation for Into the Woods, the film adaptation, didn't work, which was also very interesting. I've never seen that one, so I didn't really have like an opinion of it or whatever. But then I watched it and I was like, oh, because they took a dark comedy musical and took the comedy part out of it, which is an interesting choice. I think like one of like the like critique videos I watched was like it said like the like the movie musical of Into the Woods, the adaptation is like dark and drab on the outside, like, you know, standard Hollywood by now. It's
Yeah,
very,
I was gonna
like,
say.
you know, grey and dark and everything. And then on the inside, it's kind of like censored and light and fluffy. when it's supposed to be the opposite.
Yeah.
When it's supposed to be like this very bright, comedic, funny, like musical with a very dark undertone. Like and again, like people actually die and in very horrific ways.
As should be the case for fairy tales.
Yeah, exactly.
I still haven't. I need to get. I have a copy of the Grimm's fairy tales, and I need to get around to reading them.
Because like spoilers. Uh, that wasn't clear enough. Sorry if you're planning
What?
on watching this. Uh,
Spoilers.
but Rapunzel is in this. And Rapunzel's character, um, in the original, like, I think that's the like best way to demonstrate like the difference between like the movie musical and the actual musical. In the actual musical, Rapunzel, is after she like is found out by her mother that she like was seeing the prince, she is, you know, cast out to the desert, bears twins, um, saves her prince from blindness, goes insane, um, like literally like she in the musical, like most of her lines are either like singing beautifully or screaming.
Holy
Oh,
cow.
that must be a part to play, mustn't it? My word.
It's like either like beautiful soprano singing or hysterical screaming. Um, and then she goes like she goes in so insane that her prince basically abandons her, goes off stage, and I think she falls off a cliff to her death. It's
Yeah,
either that or she gets trampled by the giant off screen. Either way, horrific death.
what an ignominious end.
And I believe in the adaptation, um, she and her prince live happily ever after.
What?
Right, okay.
Essentially. Like they like like they're playing everything like completely straight and everything, and like she in the um actual musical, it's heavily implied that both Rapunzel's prince and Cinderella's prince, who's also in this, it's very heavily implied that they are never satisfied with like their you know, their lives, and they always go after the next new thing. Um, and so it's implied that they cheat on their wives. Um, Cinderella Prince actually does. um,
That's not implied.
Heavily implied.
That's
heavily implied.
explied.
Heavily implied, and in Cinderella Prince's case, explicitly. Uh, it's it's shown on the thing, on the set now on the stage. And you know, just like in the adaptation, Rapunzel's prince is just, you know, it's good, devoted husband. I think, at least, you know, never implied that he cheats on her or anything. Um, and Rapunzel survives, which is a weird choice considering like it's a like important moment for another character.
Look, the kids liked Tangled. Can't kill character.
Yeah. I mean, they kill other characters.
Oh.
Just that not Rapunzel for some reason. That was a choice they decided to make. They also decided to cut one of the most important songs for the moral of the story.
Well, I mean,
Which is
surely
also an interesting choice.
surely that one's obvious as to why they did that. Like, if they can't really keep that song in if they've changed everything else, because then the story doesn't make any sense. The moral of the story is, we cut that out, so let's get rid of the
Yeah.
song as well.
Because the moral of this story is that essentially, like, one of the main characters, like, runs off and he then has, like, this, moment with the ghost of his father? And basically realizes, maybe we should start, like, taking responsibility for our actions, and maybe running away isn't the answer, and maybe I shouldn't abandon my son. Um, you know, the actual moral of the story.
That seems, reasonable advice.
But they cut out that song. They did play the music during that moment, during, like, the moment where that realization is supposed to happen,
Oh, I'm sure
which
everybody understood exactly what's going on there, particularly if you haven't seen the stage version.
exactly. Um, and then they decided to cut to, like, the other, like, most important song without, like, having that moment of realization. You know, it's fine.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. They know what they're doing. They're in
Mhm,
Hollywood.
exactly. Um,
They didn't get where they are today by having original thoughts.
and also another thing that's just personally grinds my gears is that, well, the, um like, I don't know if it's the casting director or just the director in general or whoever was in charge, but they went for, like, they said this, that they went for, like, first and sing, like, people who can sing maybe secondary or maybe, like, not considered at all, which
Not
is
cats
also
again.
a very interesting choice for a movie musical.
We thought we learned that lesson with cats.
I mean, Into the Woods is older than Cats, so,
Oh, right,
that's
okay. Well, in that case, I thought cats would have learned this lesson from Into the Woods.
no. No, they just did it again. Um, but that's just the personal gripe. Um, I mean, they didn't do the Cats thing where they had, like, the, orchestra, like, bend to their wills, uh, because it wasn't, like, live singing or anything like that, thank God. Um, they didn't have to hold the orchestra at gunpoint here, but still, crimes were committed.
Crimes were committed. They were just different crimes.
Um, yeah, it's like, why? It's also just like, um, again, like, after, like, watching Sideways' video on it, but also just generally, like, listening to the musical, like, I am not, like, a musical, like, don't know anything about musical theory or whatever, I cannot sing. I listen to those songs and I think, "God, those must be super hard to sing." There are many words, it's a fast pace, there are, like, complicated melodies and everything, and I'm just like, "Why would you not hire, like, professional singers for this?"
I wouldn't
Like,
mind, but I feel like Hollywood is full of people who, like, just do all sorts of theatrical. They can sing, they can dance, they can act, they can do the whole shebang, and
yeah.
they're really just looking for their next break. Surely there's plenty of people they could have got to do that.
Yeah, that exactly, that, like, there must be people, like, you don't have to, like, get the biggest names, you just need to, like, get people who can actually do their job. I'm
People
sorry.
without a name? No. We need Scarlett Johansson.
Apparently we need James Corden, because he's in
No,
there.
we never need James Corden. There
No,
is a reason there's a reason he's in America, and that's because we realized we didn't need James Corden.
Well, he's the main character in Into the Woods.
Oh, fantastic.
Seriously?
And you're recommending I watch this?
No, I'm recommending you watch the fucking actual
Oh, right, yeah,
musical. I'm not
I forgot,
recommending
yeah.
you watch the adaptation.
Good. I was gonna revolt.
No, because I did listen to, like, I just wanted to, like, for comparison's sake, I wanted to listen to, like, one of, like, the more important songs. And I was like, this, why do you sound so bad? Why did they pick you, sir?
It's one of those things
Like, I get you want the role, but why did you have, like, to get the main character? This is a hard part.
Because I understand from the point of view of the actors, like, work, hooray! But also, like, they must know, like, when they're singing and when they're doing, like, they must know this isn't.
I hope they are aware.
And that must feel really bad. Like, if they don't have the sort of blinding ego, that's just going to feel awful, isn't it?
But they must have that blinding ego. People like Corden.
Oh, Corden, absolutely, yeah. But
Yeah.
Corden has no shame.
Yeah.
He needs to be cordened off. Doctors 9 and 10.
Yay!
We know
Like
these ones.
the very comfy sneakers.
Yeah, he wears Converses.
Good for him.
Oh, those are cute. And that little
Well-
jacket is the most boring. That look is why I didn't watch the first season. I started with Matt Smith and then Tennant and then Eggleston. Cause
See, this is
That's
the interesting
right.
thing, is that at the time, as you can see from all the costumes I've shown you before, that leather jacket and t-shirt combo was the most unusual choice for this character, because it's like that. It's too normal, you know. It's like, what are they doing with this character? And that was kind of the whole point of his character.
I mean, I get that, but I also feel like I feel like, I mean, it's BBC. They couldn't have. They have like 3 shirts in their costume department.
Oh yeah. The budget for the first series of the modern show is
But I feel like there's, because like it's like, again, it's like good for that like shock effect if you've known like the other doctors, but like once like a few episodes are like over, you just are looking at a guy.
Well, that's the point. Is this if you don't know the show, you're sort of watching and you're like, don't know this, and it's like, oh, this person's an alien. Oh, this person actually he acts strangely. He doesn't think like humans, and you just slowly realizing. Whereas if you were to just go in straight with, something like that.
I mean,
on the right, anyway.
I was about to say one of those is a British gentleman going to cricket on Sundays.
But like the sixth on the right, the sixth one, you know immediately this person's weird.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to take this person's, in any way sort of sensibly. But I think with the Eccleston one, they were like, if we want to slowly analyze this character and see how they're strange and how they're different and how they've sort of lost, I don't know, they've lost part of themselves and they're trying to get it back. It's a whole arc thing.
I get it. I also just
that.
like
Boo.
it feels weird when all the other doctors have like their weird item.
I
Yeah.
want wibbly wobbly timey wimey fizzes.
But that was the thing, is when they were bringing it back, that idea of like keeping all the weird stuff in Doctor Who was, if you had tried to do that and pitched it to the BBC, they would have gone no. The only way you would have got it back is if like, okay, it's modern now, it's up to date, we've got rid of all the flack, we've got rid of all the gimmicky stuff and the stupid costumes. We're gonna tell we're gonna do to Doctor Who what Buffy the Vampire Slayer did to vampires. That was their brief. That's what they went in with.
We'll
Is it me
use one
or
of the 3
Eccleston?
shirts in the costume department.
Yeah,
I promise.
exactly. And we'll take this
Eccleston,
actor who's known for being really serious rather than a comic actor as usual.
yeah, Eccleston in that leather jacket and acting just like an aggressive football like fan.
Yeah, he's from the
Is
north.
that
He's from
just me
Salford.
or I got aggressive from
Yeah,
that?
again, that's also part of his thing. Like his story comes immediately after a story we didn't see. Basically, he's just come back from war, and
Oh, shit.
everyone died. He's dealing with some stuff,
Yeah.
and so he's quite aggressive. He's not taking anything anymore. He's wounded. And yeah, that's another thing they tried to explore, and then that didn't lead to anything because Doctor Who has a real problem with actually following
Leading
through
to
threads.
anything.
That is long-term stories are not Doctor Who's strengths. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like now it's been established, and Doctor Who's now a thing in the public consciousness. You know, fezzes and wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff and gimmicks and
Yeah.
fun. But when it came back, it was like, no, we need to start
Yeah,
on solid
like-
ground.
It makes sense in like the context of the time, and just like in hindsight, it's just like very boring.
Yeah,
in comparison.
It stands out as not being particularly remarkable.
Yeah.
But that, yeah. And then we move on to bow ties.
Yay.
Oh, again, the numbering system. I should specify that this on the right. It's that again. Don't worry about it.
Okay, interesting.
Is that costume twice? And yeah, I'm also ignoring the Doctor that was between the 8th and the 9th. Continuity in a time travel show. Right, back to musicals.
Right.
I like this format. This is a good format.
I mean,
Sorry, I'm not gonna doodle anymore because my dog is literally.
I mean, you've done great.
the
I
worst.
stopped doodling a while ago.
Yeah, I'm just here to do doodling clothes. It's fine.
Yeah.
Good doodles were done.
But oh, another thing that in the like actual musical, the stage production, like you have the character of like Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk, and in the like actual musical, he's like obviously played by an adult, a young adult, for stage reasons, but like you also just get the vibe in general that like he's not really supposed to be a child. He's more supposed to be like a young adult that thinks like a child or that acts like a child.
Right, yeah.
Just like this very like stupidly naive. um and all that stuff. Like stupidly naive, not like really understanding or like wanting to understand or just understanding in general is unclear, but like how the world works and everything. And then the adaptation, it's a literal child.
Right. Well, there's that context gone there.
Yeah. But it's just like it doesn't like work because like there's also the other character of Jack's mother, who like in the like stage production, she is like very understandably frustrated with her young adult son who thinks that the cow they have is a he even though it's a cow. and like doesn't understand that they need money to live, you know.
That's
Kind of.
that Tumblr post of, oh, why do cows always have stereotypically feminine names? It's sexist. It's like, they're cows.
I mean, kind of, yeah, but like she is understandably like worried like for this. Like she's upset with him, but like more because like she wants him to, you know, be able to take care of himself and he just isn't. So she's like annoyed but worried at the same time, and also she like like you get the vibe that she does genuinely care about it.
Yeah, just worried
Um
parent.
but because like but there are like certain things like she does like slap him over the head because he's being an idiot and such. Um and it works because again he's like a like young adult who like is an idiot. Which and because of that, like in the like because in the adaptation, Jack is a literal child. It
Yeah, just
kind
comes off
of
as a
gets
cruel
this
parent.
really
Yeah.
weird vibe of this very like impatient like woman who cannot understand that her literal child son like isn't as like worried about like adult stuff as she is.
It gets very abusive all of a sudden.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it
The
definitely
context.
gets like more abusive contact and it's like, what is going on? It's yeah. It becomes very like strange very quickly. Um like well not exactly the same for Red Riding Hood, but like Red Riding Hood is also like depicted by an adult in like the stage production because again, adults in stage productions can get away with more than like, you know. um you know, they are expected to play children, or like you can imagine they play children because it's a stage production. Um but again, for the movie they made her a literal child, which makes it very uncomfortable because there's like very like um um pedophilic connotations.
Yeah.
um because she is supposed to like it is like a thing of um where the line nice is different than good comes from is like her recounting how um how she feels after her encounter with the wolf who um not really seduced but kind of seduced. It has sexual connotations in both in the musical as in the adaptation. um Very explicit. um it's in the costuming of the wolf. But like this theme of like loss of innocence kind of deal. Um, because the wolf like got her to stray from the path and like get flowers, and because of that she was late to her grandmother's and got eaten by the wolf. Um, but it kind of gets really like weird vibe when Red Riding Hood is played by an actual child.
Yeah.
Like it gets like it becomes less of like you know, like metaphor, more like, oh, there's an actual grown man preying on a young woman in there, or not even young woman, a child.
This movie sounds like an extreme bummer.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. Like I've heard I have heard very like mixed things about it. I've heard people say it's fine for like a movie like musical adaptation. I've heard others say that they completely missed the mark, which again like boils back down to like they basically like stripped away the actual theme and like made stuff like light and fluffy where it wasn't supposed to be, and then made the rest of it dark when it wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, they took something that, already worked, and we know bettered it.
Yeah.
And they didn't, turns out. You do need to change things to adapt it for a different format. That's always going to happen. That's why you always have people say, no, the book's better, because changes must be made. If you actually verbatim made a film out of a book, it would be boring as hell. But and that's why the world is better for having different formats, because you can explore ideas in different ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does very much seem to me that the people who made the film just didn't understand the source material.
Yeah, it is very much like, it does feel like it. Like, the more I hear about, the more it definitely feels like it, because now I've seen like the musical and I'm not gonna watch the adaptation. Um, but again, like, the musical it's very funny and it's very dramatic and everyone is over the top and everything. And then like the movie has a more like realistic feel to it, because apparently Hollywood is always about the realism of things.
Oh yeah, Hollywood's never had style. That's not something that ever happened in Hollywood's history at
Yeah,
all.
but like it feels weird. Um, there is this like uh there are some parts that work, but they also get like um they get dragged down like by like other things from those scenes that all don't work. Um, because there is this song, Agony, which is sung by the two princes, Cinderella's prince and um, Rapunzel's prince,
When the
where they're
feeling's gone and you can't go on, it's agony.
basically singing about like um, how much in agony they are because they can't get their like princesses to like stay with them, and they're basically like comparing to each other, like, "Oh, you don't get the trouble I'm going through because my princess is locked into a tower and she'd come with me if there was a door in it," and all those like very dramatic and stupid. And like um the actors from the movie adaptation made it work. Like they did that. They made it like they acted it very dramatic and like stupid, and like one of the princes like rips his shirt open and then the other one does too because they have to like compare and whatever. It's stupid and it's funny and it's silly. But what holds that scene back for me is that the singing doesn't compare.
Oh.
'Cause, it's like they aren't bad singers per se, but they had to like take, I believe, like it sounds off to me, and I don't like I have no musical knowledge, so I don't know exactly why, but I believe like one of like the critique people said like they had to like take the um like lower the um
Oh, lower the
voices,
key.
lower
Yeah.
the key, yes, for the actors to be able to sing it, which is why it sounds off. Because they couldn't get those actors, because those actors are great and they can sing fine, but they aren't singers. They haven't trained for this. And
That's
it's like little things like that, and some like music pieces like getting dragged out, and like the timing feels kind of off to me, and like just like some things work and like other things about the same scene like don't make it not work. Which, like based on that one scene alone, like from the agony scene, I would actually like it because again, the actors did like a great thing with making the princess seem like arrogant pricks
Yeah.
in that one scene at least. Um, but you know, it like if it feels off to me, like I've watched the musical like once now and I've like listened to the soundtrack, but still like I'm not a musical person. But if it sounds off to me, I can't imagine how it sounds to people who actually know about this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in two minds about the whole changing the key makes something sound weird thing. I do think a lot of that is perspective. A lot of that is perspective based on an original standpoint. I tend to take the view that changing the key of a piece of music is a bit like flipping your art, which is
Mm.
you've been hearing it in a specific way for so long that now you're hearing it with different notes, but all of the same relative structure. You can start to spot problems. It's a good exercise. If anyone writes music out there, do it. Change your music into a different key. You will hear things you did not hear before. And so part of that is like if you are used to the original and you hear it in a different key, it is going to sound weird regardless.
Yeah.
And so I do wonder how much of that is going to be an issue. But also bear in mind that the instrumentation is going to be
Oh.
different in a
Yeah,
different
yeah.
key because certain instruments play better in different registers. Fitting a piece of music to somebody's voice that they are more comfortable singing in is a good idea. Doing so without much care for how that affects the arrangement of the music itself can be a problem because it depends what's playing it basically. You know, you in the same way that you would adjust a piece of music for the voice who's singing the song, you would also adjust a piece of music for the instrument that's playing it. And if one took precedent over the other, weird things can definitely happen there. So I'm in two minds about that. Some people are like, "Oh no, changing the key of the song, it sounds bad. It's best in this key." And it's like, is that best or is that just what you're used to? Have you not looked at it in the mirror yet? Um,
Mm,
have you not flipped your music yet? Um,
it's also like you were talking about like different orchestra thing, but like that's also a thing in this musical, which is like I don't know if that's necessarily good or bad. I don't think it's either. But like because like the original musical has like, you know, standard like pit orchestra of only like I don't know how many members, 16 members or something like that. I believe was that. And then for the musical, they have like an actual, I don't know how many, like much bigger orchestra. But the music takes more of a back seat for some reason.
right. So you end up with this sort of paddy sort of.
Like,
If the music's going to take a back seat, well, I guess maybe actually having a big orchestra makes that easier because it makes it more difficult to pick out distinct sounds. I don't know.
I
I guess
mean,
that's a
like,
matter of taste.
just in general, I think like it's like again, I don't know, like I can't say I'm like much intelligent about like music theory or orchestras or anything like that. I think like just in general, like the main issue with the adaptation is that again with like it boils down to the same issue as to like they didn't cast like singers, they casted actors first,
Hmm.
uh, and not and singers like basically last. Um, but the same goes for like all the music. Like the music is kind of, you know, it's there, or at least
I,
some parts of it. There are some important like musicals where musical things were cut, um, but like it's there, which is not that's not how you adapt a musical, especially for this musical where the music is such an integral part of the story and how it's told.
yeah.
Quote,
As,
it's
as
there.
as musicals should be, in my opinion. If you
I
could take
mean,
the
yeah.
music out of a musical and it doesn't change anything, then what you've done is you've written a play with a lot of intervals. Uh,
Um, then you'll love Sideways Analysis of Into the Woods. Because first of all, it's Sideways, and he loves to talk about leitmotifs. But also, this musical uses a fucking lot of leitmotifs.
Yay!
Because
I
there are
like
a
a
lot of
leitmotif.
characters, and there's a lot of theming going on, and lots of like little things, and basically everything has to be connected in some way.
Good. I like that.
Watch it. Watch that YouTube video, at least, if you're not gonna watch the musical.
I like leitmotifs. Humans like patterns. I remember watching a composer who was like into all this sort of new modernist ways of doing things, and he described one of his pieces once as music concrete. And you listen to it, it's like, this is sound effects. This isn't music. This is the sound of a humming halogen light bulb, and literally, that was not an exaggeration. It's the sound of a humming halogen light bulb. It's music concrete, apparently. But he said, like, leitmotifs, they're very old-fashioned. It's like, no, humans like patterns. We like themes. We like stories. The music can do the same. Just because people have been doing it a while does not make it old-fashioned. Sorry, it just annoys me that.
Yeah.
Anyway, 11 and 12. Boom.
I love 11, but that's also just my personal bias speaking of
Yeah.
but for 12 it's also just like the costume on itself is not like anything spectacular, but I think
Not
just
particularly.
Peter Capaldi wears it really well.
Yeah, he pulls it. It is really nothing special. The only thing that's really special, and I tried to accentuate it, is the red sort of lining stripe around the inside of the coat, and the quite sharp collar, I guess. But other than that, later on he starts to get like red velvet coat and stuff like that. And in the last series he had a coat that I really want. Because it just, I don't know, I just really like, I would look stupid in it, as is the case of most of the things I like. But it's just like this sort of really tattered sort of linen, dark linen sort of thing. I just really like it. I don't know why. And it's got like pleated edges around the back, and
Looks
I
fun.
like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Very distressed sort of dark linen thing. But let's face it, Matt Smith has the fez, Peter Capaldi has the hair. So his hair grows exponentially as the series goes on, and I'm all for it.
It should have been like that from the start.
Because it's like, if you go back and look at him like in his first series, he's got short hair. You know, it's not right. That's not right. Look at this. Look. Into the Woods. Sorry, I'm going to drown it with Peter Capaldi pictures. Like, who's this? Who's that? I don't know who that is. He's from
no one.
No one. Nobody. This is a cosplayer. I need the floof.
Yeah, the floof.
The floof has personality. The floof and the distress.
His character doesn't work well without the floof.
Yeah.
Honestly, if the floof had been there from the start, I might have watched the season.
As I have said on several occasions, the Peter Capaldi's first series is pretty bad. Given and I can say that because he's my favourite Doctor. So it is really quite bad. But his second series is amazing. So what are you gonna do? The more hair, the better.
Do the bad to get to the good.
You don't really. It's Doctor Who. You can skip. All you've got to know is Missy. Her episodes are bad as well, but it's Missy, so you can forgive her. And that's it. That's all you need to know from the 8th series. And watch Mummy on the Orient Express, because that's right up my street. And Flatline's pretty good as well. They're the only episodes you should watch from series 8.
And
That's it. Well, Time Heist if you're feeling up to it. Avoid Kill the Moon. It is the worst episode of anything I have ever watched.
That's the one I'm gonna watch now.
Don't watch Kill the Moon. It's not even funny bad.
Oh no.
But yeah, I think Matt Smith's costume. I think I love the fez, the bow tie. It's great. it's also my personal bias towards the Matt Smith Doctor as like one of the two Doctors I've seen.
It's good. I like Matt Smith's Doctor. I like how the fez was like. They wrote it into the script of like he picks up a fez in a thing, and then when they got into rehearsals, they were like, he's not going to let this thing go, is he? So Matt Smith is just going to keep this fez, and so they wrote into the script that the fez gets destroyed, just so he wouldn't keep it. So it's just a one-off thing, but of course now it's a thing.
Yeah, of course. It's part of his identity now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 12th Doctor costume, it like again, it's nothing like too special. It's like it has some color, but other than that, it's just a suit.
Yeah,
But
right.
Peter
You
Capaldi
wouldn't
just
see
wears it
someone
really
walking
well.
Yeah, it fits his look.
Yeah,
It was a costume designed for him to work with him.
especially with like the floof, and then this costume, and then he's like, yeah, he's the Doctor.
Floof. Look at that floof. And the eyebrows. Attack eyebrows. And now we move on to the final one. And I'm interested to know, I don't know if you've seen the costume of the final one.
No.
But I'm interested to know what you think of it. Because it's, well, I'm not going to say. I'm interested to know.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway,
More
what
musicals.
was I talking about?
Leitmotifs, music.
Yeah. I mean, spoilers for if you're gonna watch Sideways video, but he explains it much better than I will because I don't know what I'm talking about. But there is this like one little theme of in the musical of Into the Woods called the Bean theme,
Bean.
which gets played note for note at a certain part. As the beans are like dropped into someone's hands. And you can like hear it in like most of the most important music in the story. For like most of the songs. In some form or another. Because it's the bean theme, and the bean theme connects to the witch's curse, because the curse got like she put a curse on people because her beans got stolen.
Beans.
And then like so because like the entire like play is influenced by the curse of the beans, you hear it throughout the entire show, and then by the end, the theme, I believe Sideways put it as like it's almost like it's inversed. So it's
right, yeah.
like which is supposed to like signify that, this is the end of the curse. Like the curse is over, the beans, have no more power because they actually learned something. Like they learned from their mistake and the curse is over. Which is very interesting.
Yes, that is a musical. I need to try it at some point. I've never done it myself. There are several ways of. There's several. I don't know. I don't really think I have the temperament to do that. To be honest. But no, that is a musical idea of like inverting things. You can either invert things in time or invert them in relative to a note, as it were. So you can essentially turn the notes upside down, so high notes become low notes and low notes become high notes. Or you can effectively play it backwards, either keeping the rhythm that you had before or just properly reversing the whole thing. So there's lots of different ways of inverting, and that is usually used as this idea of like the opposite of what the original motif was. That's this now. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one to use. I haven't used it.
I would not thought it was that complicated.
It sounds complicated. Literally, the reason people do it is because it's an easy way to get new ideas out of existing material.
Oh,
It's just, turn your sheet music upside down, play that. Does it sound good? Cool, add it in. If not, write something else.
But yeah, that's one of the many fun things that Sideways talks about in this video. And also how in basically the opening number, which is 12 minutes long. um Basically every character that is important to the story is introduced in that song. And during the song, they get their leitmotif introduced. Um which is very interesting because then it also comes back to when characters relating to them are on screen, they also used that same motif or theme or whatever. Um, so Cinderella is in one of the first characters introduced. Um, I mean, she is the first character introduced, but not the first one speaking because the narrator is an actual character in the story.
Yeah.
So you have the narrator, and then Cinderella. And Cinderella sings this little tune, and that tune keeps coming back. And it's also used for when her prince, Cinderella's prince, comes on stage. It's also used as to signify he's with Cinderella. Remember that? Remember this tune that she sung? Yep, that's him. Um, so lots of little fun things like that.
Yeah. Purposeful use of leitmotif. Sometimes leitmotif is just, hey, this thing's on screen now, let's play that music. Other times it's, hey, let's tell a story about how these two characters are related using the leitmotif and manipulating it with commonly understood musical ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes music be good.
Yeah, music be good, even as it's magic, it's wizardry.
It's
making wizardry,
it good is.
Chris.
Making good music is wizardry. I still don't understand that bit, but music itself
You're a
is
wizard.
usually. You're a wizard, Crispy.
Yeah, I very much recommend that at least everyone watch that video if they're not gonna watch the entire musical, even though I really recommend the entire musical as well because it's a good musical. It's very funny and I love it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that the bottom part of an apron or the back of the coat?
I tried to make it look like it was attached to some trousers, but then I realised there's no point drawing the trousers. So it's supposed to. There's an erroneous line there. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's a mix.
There's phantom trousers.
Phantom trousers.
Attack of the phantom trousers.
Oh no.
There you go.
Interesting.
That's boring.
I should specify the bands in the middle of the t-shirt are what I can only describe as a 1970s rainbow. Do you know what I mean when I say that? It's got 1970s TV colors. Everything's kind of desaturated slightly, and it's yeah. And there are little bands sort of down here. These bits. Is it? Any colors? These bits here that are going down sort of inside the coat. They're the same rainbow.
Oh, okay.
But they're very thin, so I can't really draw that.
Well,
She does have pockets, though. I just realised that. Hooray! Hooray for women having pockets.
Coat, it's a more fun outfit.
Yeah, the coat is just light grey.
Yeah.
It's completely plain light grey.
I looked up a picture. It's interesting.
The reason I wanted to know your opinion on this is that when I first saw the outfit, I was like, I don't really get anything from this.
No,
Like
This
other than 1970s kids TV presenter. Like I don't.
it's a very like
there's
yeah,
personality without the code. With the code, there's no personality.
it's a very like nondescript outfit, but not even in the sense of like it's just a suit.
Yeah.
um, because some of the doctors have just had it's a suit. Um, see the last doctor, but Peter Capaldi wears it like a champ.
Yeah.
But like I, I don't know.
There's
It
ignore the
feels
fez, but there's a picture of without the code.
yeah, like if you like ignore the fuzz, then it's just again, it's just this like it's weird, but it's not weird enough.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It's like it falls in this like very gray area of like it's not normal enough to be like any kind of commentary on anything or like to like contrast with a crazy personality, but it's also not crazy enough to go like what they wanted to do with the Sixth Doctor of like
Yeah.
crazy close stern personality. Like it's not weird enough for that. But it's not normal enough to be like, you know, normal outfit, crazy personality.
And
See,
it's a weird code in itself. I like that the I'm looking on a picture that the rainbow is in the coat's lining or like detailing,
yeah.
Yeah.
well as a shirt,
Which I
but
find,
that's about it.
like I said, I find that interesting for two reasons. One, it feels like it's going back to the kind of costume over outfit days of the old Doctor Who, when they made that sort of cross between this is an outfit that somebody threw together and this person is wearing a piece of celery.
Mhm.
Um, this is like, okay, we've matched the rainbow stripe on the t-shirt to the rainbow stripe in the coat. It's like very specific details like that don't feel like
Mm.
just an outfit cobbled together through things. But it's doubly weird because apparently this outfit, I saw the episode in which this outfit was created, they just found these clothes in a charity shop. This is they
Right.
just
Yeah.
found them. Yeah, just actually here's an image of that. Sorry, I'm just drowning Chibi's stuff into the woods.
Post them again, don't worry.
Yeah, she literally just tries on clothes and is like, this outfit, no, this outfit, no, this outfit, oh yeah, that works. And it's like it looks too specific to be.
Yeah. Oh, that
That
feels
like
off.
coat on the back, the like leathery furry coat,
Oh
that
yeah,
would have been fun.
yeah, it would have been something. But anyway, the reason I kind of find that interesting is I wanted to know your opinion of it. Is that you sort of describe it as like it can't quite make up its mind. It's sort of like it's not weird enough, but it's also not sensible enough. It's this sort of like
Yeah.
from my experience of the 3 episodes I've watched and from everybody else's opinion about it that I've found, that's basically the show now.
Oh,
So
great.
it doesn't really know what it's trying to do anymore. And it's sort of half-arsing a lot of things and not really doing anything else.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which
I
is a
like the
shame.
coat. I like the outfit with the coat for another character.
Yeah.
It's a nice coat, and
It's
with
not a
the
bad outfit. It's
thing
No,
just
it's not a bad
with
outfit. It
creeping and
just
stuff,
doesn't work for the Doctor, I feel.
yeah.
like the quirky T-shirt and high-waisted pants with suspenders, and I'm all for that. That's fun.
Yeah, like either with or without because it's a fun outfit. It's just like you can have like if you have a quirky side character, that's what that
Yeah,
outfit is for.
Do you know what?
yeah.
I remember something from the first episode. I really liked Jodie Whittaker's first episode. I thought it was the best opening episode that a Doctor's had since the show's come back. And it just rapidly declined after that. So
Mm.
I was really excited after the first episode. I was all for Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, very happy with it. And one of the things I was really looking forward to was there was a scene in the first episode where it's tradition. Every new Doctor gets their own sonic screwdriver. Because the old one breaks inexplicably. It always breaks. Um, And Jodie Whittaker's way of getting a new screwdriver was not just that the TARDIS gave it to her in some way. She made it. She got a bunch of spoons, some magic crystals, and then a blowtorch, and just went to town. And I really like that sequence because it was like when the show was announced, hey, we got a female doctor. It's like, oh, there's a role model for young girls and stuff like that. And I saw that scene. I was like, aha! As a way to sort of encourage young girls. It's like, engineering, make things. You know, this could be like the engineering doctor that sort of makes her own solutions and all that sort of stuff. And it's never mentioned again.
But that sounds like so fun.
But I remember watching this scene and like, she looks cool like this with the goggles and the tattered thing and the apron. That could work.
That has almost like a steampunkish vibe to it, and I'm all for it, honestly.
That's awesome.
Like, if you want to like go between it's just a suit and weird, then steampunk is the way to go.
Yeah, it's like I feel like, if anything, the first episode was a problem because it set my expectations too high, because that whole scene stuck in my head as like, that is a really cool idea for this doctor. And I'd be really happy to see that developed, and it's never used again. And she turns into the nice doctor who's just nice to people. She embodies the problem we were talking about, this idea of like, nice is not good. It's like, oh, I'm your friend. We've got friends. Here's the fam.
Is that like because they tried to turn the Capaldi one on its head?
Yeah, it's like the opposite of that. It is, yeah. It's like they forgot everything that the previous series tried to talk about.
You don't think it was intentional?
Not really, because it's like there's too many things that don't fit the narrative for that to feel deliberate, but also too many things that do fit that to make it feel like an accident. I don't know.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, I don't know. Just bear in mind, this is coming from somebody who never liked the episodes written by the current showrunner when he was just writing random episodes. Say what you want about Stephen Moffat, and a lot of people will say a lot about his time under Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi. Over, I guess. The episodes he wrote prior to becoming showrunner are some of the best episodes of Doctor Who ever made. Like Don't Blink and the Are You My Mummy gas mask one, and he wrote some of the most memorable standalone episodes before becoming the showrunner. Chris Chibnall, current showrunner, his episodes were middling at best and annoying at worst. So I never had much confidence. I had a lot of confidence in Jodie Whittaker. I had no confidence in the showrunner. But that's just me. So
I also want to just like also just based on the first picture, like I don't know what role that plays in that episode or whatever, but it feels very much like they wanted to go like the weird route with the outfits, but then also like I don't know how much that is on like purpose or anything, but also like they want to go weird, but then also it's the first female doctor, we can't go too weird.
that might be it. But then
Like,
I was thinking it was the Carefuls
main
season.
female character, we can't like she still has to like be normal and pretty, you know? She can't be like go all the way there.
She does kind of have that going for, like I say, her personality is like, oh, I'm the nice one. These are my friends. Like she's got that kind of like sort of. I feel like you would never write
that. I was like, oh, it's a female doctor. She's
nice. Exactly.
Yeah.
it really gives that impression. And again, I've only seen 3 episodes, but apparently it gets worse. So.
Oh, great. But yeah, that I mean, like I don't know, like lots of that probably isn't intentional, but it is like unintentional. Like we make a female character, but like as in we make a female character, and other than that, she has like no other qualities.
It could have been well intentioned, like they knew that it would be hated so much, and it was. That just the idea of a female doctor, so they were like, at least make people not hate her.
I feel like that's worse, and I think it's easier to hate something that's bland.
Yeah.
Especially when it's Doctor Who. It's supposed to be goofy. Doctor Who is supposed to be goofy.
I mean, it's very easy to hate something that's bland. I talked about for 2 hours last week.
And that feels like, and the big problem, right? The big problem I have with this, and I will stand by this. There is no single actor who has played the Doctor who has done a bad job, ever. Every single person who has ever played the Doctor has done a fantastic job with what they were given. And Jodie Whittaker is trying her best, goddammit.
Yeah.
She's really trying, but she's not given
like,
anything.
I fully trust that the actress is trying her best. It's just like based on like these at least like the screenshot with her and the fez and like the screenshot underneath, it feels very much like we want to make a quirky female doctor, but she can't be too quirky because she's still the female doctor. She's the first one, and she's a female character, which means she can't have a personality other than that she's female.
It comes across like that, unfortunately.
It's very much like the problem stems like from the same route as like the Galadriel picture from last week, where we're just like, this could be anything. It's a female YA protagonist in a fantasy story. But like, the same route of just like poor problem of like, for some reason people still don't know how to write female characters. They think strong is cold and detached, and they think they can't be too quirky because then female characters get supposedly annoying, you know?
It's like, I don't know. Like, when the show first started, well, not when it first started, when it came back with Christopher Eccleston and such, it was written by Russell T Davies. And Russell T Davies is a wonderful character writer. He's not very good with plots, in my opinion, but he's a very good character. The best characters in Doctor Who have been during his tenure, in my personal opinion, and he wrote lots of really good female characters. Donna Noble is one of my favourite companions, despite the fact that prior to that, Catherine Tate, the actress-comedian who played her, I absolutely hated. Because her comedy was just not up my street and I was a teenager, and you hate things when you're a teenager that you don't like. So he's managed to do that. He just managed to write really, really good female characters. Then Stephen Moffat came along and forgot how to write characters. But he could write a really good story. It made no sense, and if it went on too long, it just fell apart. But a really good short story. I feel like Chibnall forgot both. And it really just sort of stands out, particularly if you're going to have like the first female Doctor, you should be confident of writing a female character. Like...
Yeah.
It just doesn't... There's another female character in it as well, Yaz, who apparently has even less personality.
Oh, great.
Who basically stands there for 3 series and does nothing.
Oh, wonderful. Ah.
And sorry, I've just remembered this. To pour salt on the wound, there is a female character in the first episode who's great. Her name's Grace. She's the mother of one of the other characters, and she's just like this spirited sort of like motherly character who's like, yeah, there's a monster on top of this crane, I'm gonna climb it, why not? Is going for it. And she's just full of life. And then spoilers for the first episode, she dies.
Oh, great.
And that's all the women with personality gone.
Yay.
Whoa. Unintentional sexism strikes again.
We needed
so bad.
We needed to feel bad for someone dying, so let's kill the only person who was worth keeping.
When was this season?
I'm talking about series 11. When was that? It was about 4 or 5 years ago now.
That's not that long ago.
No, not at all.
Like if it was like 10 years ago, like media was particularly bad at that point, but like
2018.
It's not that. Oh, it's not long ago at all.
No, 4 years ago.
Oof. Oh, that's not good.
and it's just like, it's annoying. It's a bit like, I got the same feeling with as I do in politics when I see female politicians in Britain. It's like, we have the opportunity to have equal opportunities and have an equal number of female and male politicians and have nice gender balance everywhere. Why is every female politician doing such a bad job? How can this job possibly attract the worst kind of people, like Thatcher and May? The two female prime ministers we've had have somehow been awful, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I want the better representatives. Why is this? And like I say here, Jodie Whittaker is doing a fantastic job. Don't get me wrong, but it's just why? Why couldn't this have worked out? I want more of this.
It's the thing where when you want progress, all of the people that you really don't want to be in focus are in focus.
Yeah.
That just always happens.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah, it's just like I would love for more good female characters in Doctor Who and more female incarnations, but I cannot point to I can't point to any good evidence. I would love more good female politicians. I can't point to any good evidence. It's like, come on, give me something to work with.
It's like trying to explain to a family why a certain group of people aren't bad, and then you turn on the TV and then, well, shit.
Yeah.
That's what's being shown, and you're like, I just know that this or that or whatever is or isn't true, but then you're like, I can't show them.
Yeah.
You just have to believe me, and no.
Yeah, it's like you have to believe me that like one instance is like not a slight against an entire group of people, but like it's not easy for me.
Things just happen in these, like, when things are changing or trying to change, that's just always what happens.
Yeah, I hope, I can only hope. Apparently Russell T Davies, the person who brought the series back, he is apparently going to be the next writer again. So hopefully he can do something with it and turn it around. And
I hope so for you
it just
and for
frustrates
Jodie
me
Whittaker.
because this show thrives on change, right? If it stays the same, it'll just die a slow death, and it has to change and it has to evolve, which is why I'm worried about Russell T Davies coming back. But yeah, sometimes missteps happen, and it just happens in this case that it was a very high-profile misstep. Oh no.
Yeah. I just feel bad for Jodie Whittaker because she probably already had to like take so much shit of just like the quote unquote biggest fans of Doctor Who who like shit on her for being a female doctor.
Yeah, never listen to the biggest fans of anything. That's
Yeah.
But yeah, having to face that.
Like that I don't think that's ever easy for any character, but like especially for like something like Doctor Who, which is like every other doctor has been a white man.
Yes.
With no color variation or whatever.
And that's something I will thank Stephen Moffat for, is just very, very specifically on multiple occasions Time Lords regenerate from white man to black woman or something to make it very, very clear this can happen, writers. This can happen.
Yeah.
It's like these are aliens. There is no reason we should stick with white men.
Yeah.
No, you don't get it. It's impossible. Because of all of these reasons.
Yeah. But like, yeah. That can never have been like, that's never easy for any actress to deal with, and I imagine it wasn't easier for Jodie Whittaker. And then to also like fall into like your character essentially being written as generic female character number 2.
Yeah.
And I remember when it was announced and I saw her, and I was like, I'd seen her in Broadchurch and I loved her there, and I was really surprised that serious an actress to be picked, not like a new Catherine Tate.
Yeah.
I was very surprised. I was like, oh my god, change, and it's gonna be like feminism, Doctor Who the season. That's what I thought back then.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't
mean,
see it because I
unfortunately,
was kind of burned out on sci-fi, but
in a sense, that might be quite good for you because the
uh,
series tried to go back. Do you remember me saying when the show first started, they did a lot of historical stuff, trying
mhm.
to sort of be educational? They did a lot of that in that series. He was like, okay, let's try that again. We haven't done this for a while. And so, like, the third episode was all about Rosa Parks. Um,
Oh.
and then they went on to do some things about like the British colonization of India and things like that, and talk about like the atrocities that we don't like to talk about in this country that we really should talk about,
Mhm.
and all that sort of thing. And in a sense, I'm happy about that. I like spreading these things and talking about it and so on and so forth. But the way they handled it's not my favorite. It must be said. Um, yeah, there's
Yeah,
the Rosa Parks episode is like, this is still a sci-fi. We need a sci-fi villain. So here's a space racist. Um, and it's just like who who travels back in time to stop Rosa Parks getting on the bus, and he does literally nothing because the plot makes him do literally nothing. But he's just racist the whole time, and it just drives me mad. So you have a character who doesn't do anything, who just makes me mad.
wonderful.
That
No,
I'm
but
not really
yeah,
weird
that
world
sounds
in Doctor Who.
the thing is, it's not an episode of Doctor Who as far as I'm concerned. It is a pretty good documentary about Rosa Parks and the sort of situation around that, which is occasionally interrupted with Doctor Who characters. If you removed the Doctor Who characters, you would have a very short but very well made documentary about the Rosa Parks incident.
that feels
Nickelodeon cartoon.
off. And also, I'm just generally not a fan of when like this character's racist, but like alien. Because like
Oh,
it
so it's not a
always like implies to me like unless all characters are alien, it always implies to me like, oh, humans can't be racist.
Well, he's
You have
human.
to be an alien to like be against this.
They show plenty of examples of people at the time being racist, obviously, to set the context.
Yeah, yeah, but still, like the main villain, like being like this space racist, as you
Yeah,
call it, doesn't
I,
like.
I guess that is the fundamental flaw of that story is that like you want to represent the sort of racism, sort of explain how that works, but the main villain is the space racist who is not who's not something you can really sort of connect to in the real world. And
It's
technically the path of the story is actually to adhere to the racism of the time, because the whole point of the story is to get Rosa Parks back on the bus so that she can be ejected.
Mm-hmm.
Like, arguably, like the whole Doctor Who, the whole story in that, the whole thing they're trying to do is encourage the racism that actually existed at the time, so that series of events can play out. It's not a good story.
the
It's not
afterlife
good.
though.
And
It's
then they decided to film the bit at the end where she's actually being ejected off the bus, and then film it in slow motion, all dramatic. And they put a modern ballad, warbly
oh
young
no,
singer. It's so bad. Sorry. That was the
no,
last straw for me. It's just that kind of modern. I don't know who it was. A modern singer doing a ballad over the top of it. It's like, oh no.
it's yeah. I like obviously I haven't seen this episode, so it doesn't like I don't know exactly how it goes, but it definitely sounds to me as like we have like these instances of like racist shit happening, but we need a main villain, and like the m- because the main villain isn't human, it becomes almost like this caricature.
Oh no, he is. There is nothing going on with the personality of that character other than racist.
Yeah, you
That
know
is it.
exactly. It's like the thing of like um, it's I'm gonna say something very specific, like it's a common thing, but like when you see like a very like characteristic like depiction of a Nazi isn't half as scary as like if in a well-written movie a character happens to be a Nazi.
Yeah.
You know? Like
And like
Real humans are doing bad things are scarier than an alien.
yeah,
yeah.
it's like I'm not going to hold this up as a paragon of an example of how you're supposed to do this, but in the previous series, there was a new companion, Bill, who was black, and they went back in time to Victorian London, and
Mhm.
just kind of out of nowhere, because a lot of people were openly racist back then. I specify openly because there are a lot of people now who are racist who are not so open about it. But yeah, and they were just sort of having a conversation as a Victorian thing, and then someone walks in and then immediately just shouts something racist at this character, and the Doctor just goes, "Nope," and then punches him in the face. And it's like, it was that sort of sudden, sharp shock of like, oh, yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't like this character. I mean, they were they were a rich white person, racist, and so on and so forth. But it was just like there was no like, I am the Machiavellian evil villain. He was just a character. He was just a person in
like
this
it's
world.
just like this is a person in this world. He's gonna say this. They're gonna get punched in the face for this.
Yeah.
You know? They're like,
And
this is just something that happens, and you can either tolerate it or not.
there goes a good gif of it. Bear in mind that the Doctor is generally considered a pacifist. So
I mean, I sometimes I'm a pacifist, but I mean, I genuinely consider myself a pacifist. But also, I'm not against punching racist people and Nazis in the face.
yeah, sometimes you're a pacifist. Other times you've passed the fist.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost a joke. But yeah, it's just like that was arguably a comedy scene, and it dealt with racism better than the serious racist episode of the modern. I don't know.
That
Again,
I
I'm not
mean,
gonna.
it is very much the thing of like
teaching
these.
people through comedy or laughing or anything is always, in my opinion, better than like what's it called, a pointed index finger. Do you do that? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no humor in the Rosa Parks episode, and I can see why. It was a real event. It actually happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we don't portray that in Doctor Who.
Yeah, but it's just a series of people being racist and the characters going, well, we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, that
Yay.
feels very weird,
That's
especially like
That's the whole point of the episode is we can't do anything about it. We have to leave things as they are.
Like, as I remember
you
Doctor
know?
Who, it's like, oh, we have to leave the time stuff as blah blah blah, but they never do.
Yeah.
And
The
like,
if
there's
Yeah, I was
something
about to
wrong,
say like
like
Doctor Who like interferes in everything as far as I
constantly,
know.
always
constantly.
the meaning to
So
not
like,
interfere.
why is
They
this?
see something awful happening, and they're like, I have to interfere. Like, that's the whole thing, right?
The Doctor Who's whole adage is you cannot interfere with history, but let's do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like then it feels like extra weird because it's just like, oh, but we'll make an exception for this. Now we'll
Yeah.
actually not do anything because um
Because this was a significant historical event without which racism would still exist. That's basically their argument in the episode. If this didn't happen, the racists would still be around, and it's like
racists are still around.
yeah, also kind of missing the point there as well. But
Yeah.
you know.
I get that the point of that season was missing the point.
The point of this, I can kind of get where they were coming from. I was excited for them to try something different, but again, I do feel like they've missed the point of what they were even trying to do.
It's just if people had thought like a centimeter longer on that like thread, they would have maybe not.
I love that turn of phrase. People have thought a centimeter longer on that thread.
It's badly.
I'm stealing that.
That's what that is.
I like it. I'm stealing it. But yeah, it very much feels like one of the things that I can't get across here is the quality of the way it looks. Doctor Who is impeccably shot now. It looks really good.
That's weird.
And there is no substance behind that.
Oh.
Like, people keep pointing out, I've watched like sort of deconstructions of the first few episodes of like how it's directed, and they just keep pointing things out in the direction that are just like, yeah, no, that looks really good, but that why? It actually makes this slightly confusing now. Like, they know how to make any given frame look good, but in context, it's a mess.
I'm now like linking this back to what I earlier said about Into the Woods, about like how they flipped it on its head with like it looks colorful and pretty, and then it had like a darker undertone, and flipped it to be like darker but with a lighter undertone. And I keep thinking of that now for Doctor Who. Like, they made this one look pretty but have no substance, while earlier.
Yeah, earlier, again, Christopher Eccleston, the leather jacket, t-shirt, there's nothing going on there. That's not particularly interesting. And then you look underneath, it's like, actually, no, there's a lot going on here. And now it's the other way around. Now it's all flashy and interesting cinematography and nothing it's in service of. But yeah, again, I don't want to be that person who just sort of kicks things because he doesn't like them. I feel like I was about to say there are a lot of people who do like it, but if you look at the audience figures, that's not true.
I mean, to be fair, you've given like a lot of well thought out reasons why you don't like it, and I think that's fair.
Yeah, I feel like hopefully I've communicated why I didn't get past that episode and why I just stopped watching.
No, I fully understand, especially because you also said like it wasn't like funny in any way, which like is understandable for like a thing on a serious topic, but also it's Doctor Who.
Yeah,
like
it's
if you're
supposed to
not
be
making
goofy.
it silly, then what are you even doing?
If you're not making it silly because of the subject matter, why have you chosen that subject matter?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's if you're gonna watch the series, skip Rosa. You're not gonna miss anything. The second, I haven't even talked about the second episode. Oh my god, that's a mess. Talking about not knowing what you want to do. That episode is like 5 episode ideas, none of which have a beginning or end.
Oh, great.
Just crammed together for I don't know why. Just things appear. It does feel like you've watched the middle of 5 episodes. It is just so bizarre. And I gotta, because I liked the first episode so much, watch the second one and I'm like, I don't know what happened, but whatever. I can keep riding this. And then Rosa happened and I stopped. It's that second episode. I advise watching the second episode because I just don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
I'm sorry, I saw a bird and I had to draw it.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. It's also just...
This is the image that will stay in the minds of people watching this stream.
Yay.
Yay. This is what we all came here for.
Yay. Yeah, so I started drawing the 13th Doctor costume and I was like, oh, we'll finish roughly on time after this.
Yeah.
An
You
hour
had a
later.
lot to say about it, and that's great.
Yeah, I feel like I should have just started talking about the new series, because that's mostly what I want to talk about. I can and ah about all the positives and negatives of the earlier series, but largely it's just a matter of taste. I feel like the most significant problems are with the existing series, and it doesn't get better, apparently. So...
Very unfortunate.
But I do feel like I want to watch it because apparently there is an episode in that series. I think it actually is the 4th episode, so the one I stopped on, the one I stopped before, which is generally considered to be the worst of the lot. It's called Arachnids in the UK, which is just is a pun on anarchy in the UK, I guess. And apparently
I was just like, arachnids in the UK. It sounds very uninteresting. There
apparently
are
it is
spiders in the UK.
Yeah, apparently there are just some big spiders living in an apartment complex, and somebody wants to kill them, but the doctor's like, no, they deserve to live.
What?
Because they're living things. They're aliens for some reason.
Okay.
And honestly, it has so many parallels with Kill the Moon. I'm very excited to see how awful it is. It also apparently has a strawman Trump character, so that's going to be fun.
Oof. Oof.
Do you see why I don't want to watch this anymore?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't
and there's also an episode
watch
called
Doctor Who to be reminded of politics.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to come away from Doctor Who stressed. This is the problem. This is why I stopped at Rosa. I came away so stressed. And apparently there's an episode that's about basically like Amazon, essentially. I think it's called Kablam. And as I know, but it's like it's about like workers' rights in like a big factory situation, but they try to two sides it as like, yes, you deserve workers' rights, but you shouldn't do anything bad to the company.
That's. I'm sorry. I'm gonna make this reference. Like, that's very much missing the mark, just like in the Bioshock playthrough.
Yes, it is.
Draw through. It's just like, you wanted to sides it. I understand that things are grey. This is not the thing to sides it on.
Yeah.
If this was made 10 years ago, it could have been changeable, but understandable somehow.
Yeah, the context was still nebulous. It was like, are these ideas actually manifesting, or is it something that... But now it's like... 10 years ago it was like, oh, we're taking a Victorian allegory for sort of work ethics and strike sabotaging and stuff like that, and we're transposing it into a modern world. That's fine. Now it's like, no, this is actually happening. I don't know. Again, bear in mind I have not seen either of those episodes, but...
Yeah, but like, still...
I want to and don't want to because I know I'll be so stressed. And I don't watch Doctor Who to be stressed. I watch Doctor Who to have a good time. Goofy space fun times, please. You can touch on serious topics, but it only works when it's in contrast with the goofiness.
Exactly. It's like good points coming across in Monty Python.
Yeah. It's like the sudden, like... I don't know. It's... This is still on screen.
Capalbirb?
Yeah, Capalbirb. We love Capalbirb.
Capalbirb. The Capalbirb will visit you in your dreams.
Yeah.
Or not in your dreams. Might be your sleep paralysis demon. I don't know. Anyway,
he's gonna be there.
Yeah. I'm not even going to get into that. We've already gone over. I was just going to get into. I'll leave this out of context. Why not? One of the things that does happen in a later episode is that the Doctor uses somebody's skin color against them.
Oh no.
There is a dark-skinned character. I think the actor is from India, Indian descent. And like they're disguising themselves with sci-fi mumbo jumbo, so that they can infiltrate the Nazis to do something. There's Nazis in it, hooray! And the Doctor just goes, "You're evil, so I'm going to turn off your mumbo jumbo thing so that they can see that you're not white," and then runs away. And it's like, that feels bad.
Yeah.
Like the person she's doing that to is evil. Like it's a character who is a long-running character in the series, etc., etc. But also the whole point of the dynamic between those two characters is the Doctor is the one that forgives, and so much is wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The being kind but not good, if that was actually the point here, like that
Yes.
would really have come across.
It's I don't know. That's I would like to point out that's not even in this series. That's in the next series. So this doesn't get better anytime soon.
No.
Right.
It's not like they had a bad series and got better, like series 8 to series 9. No, apparently it carries on. Anyway, I need to stop ranting about things I haven't seen.
I will remember Capalbirb.
Capalbirb is worth
Remember
it.
Capalbirb and all of Christie's amazing art.
Yes.
Especially Capalbirb.
Always
Especially Capalbirb.
Always tried to be nice, but never failed to Capalbirb.
Never felt a Capalbirb.
Never. Right, that's the end of stream. Tune in next week when Christy talks about The Witcher for 2 hours. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
you
if
can
you
do
want
it.
to.
Finish off the trilogy. I mean, you could do what I did and talk about it for an hour, and then intersperse that with Chibi talking about musicals.
I mean, I'd be happy to watch another musical before next week.
Yeah,
I can do that.
I'm good. I like that as a format.
Just have me talking. It's like a break. I'm
Welcome
the
to
advertisements.
No,
Advertise musicals.
No, we're the advertisers. You are the consistent programming. We are the advertisers. We're the special
Are we
guests.
doing ad breaks now?
This isn't. So I should rename. This isn't Crispy and Friends. This is Chibi and Friends. I should rename.
This is my podcast now.
Yep. This is Chibi's musical podcast. Which I mean, I'm up for.
I mean, from streams and I usually so.
Also, thanks Kira for being here and chatting away all the time, and apologies for not actually responding to anything you say because I keep getting distracted by the other conversation. I am reading everything you write.
Yeah.
I keep meaning to respond, but I never do because I'm bad.
It was your rants episode.
Yeah. You were ranting and you did great.
You
did great.
I feel bad.
No.
I like
you did great. Shut up.
Everyone watch Doctor Who. It's good. Apart from the new ones.
You did great.
Actually, watch the new ones and tell me whether I should watch them. Yeah. Everyone punch racists.
Yes.
Punch racists. Don't just go with the status quo, please.
Capalbirb says punch racists.
Yeah. Is that the name of the VOD?
Yes. It's not gonna make sense until the very end.
If anyone's watching the VOD, that's why.
Through half an hour of no drawing to get to that.
Yeah. It's a podcast. There are people who do podcasts on Twitch and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. We've got a podcast with added drawing. You can think of it as a drawing stream with not much drawing, or you can think of it as a podcast with drawing.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah. We managed to spin it as a good thing.
We did it.
We did it. Now I need to let the people who are an hour ahead of me in time zone sleep.
Yeah.
Thank you for chatting and drawing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kira, for being here and chit-chatting as well. I'll be back on Tuesday with the Mugguses.
Wait, what?
With Mugguses. Mugguses.
Yeah. Noodles.
Apparently, according to captions, I'm going to be back on Tuesday with the middle with Mum. So.
Yep.
That's what that is. Or Metal Gear Solid, one or the other. Then Wednesday is the Bioshock Infinite draw through. I've finished playing it again recently, and boy, I've got my work cut out for me. Saturday is more Overcooked, I guess. Hopefully, more people, more friends can join in.
Yeah.
Etc. Metal Gear Solid. Mugs. Mugs. Also, for patrons, there's a new video. There's a new video up.
It's good.
Of me
You
drawing
have Judgment
animals.
Shark.
Judgment Shark. They will judge you. Yeah. I need to stop. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.